And we welcome you to E.J. Whitmire Stadium on the campus of Western Carolina University as we get set for some more Thursday night lights on a beautiful evening in Cullowhee. Tonight, I'm George Young alongside Byron McClure and Mike Wood roaming the sidelines for us once again. He'll be joining us closer to game time. Glad that you are with us. A lot of fans have made their way into the stands, as you see folks that have gathered here for tonight's Big Mountain 8 showdown between the Brevard Blue Devils and the Panthers. Franklin last week defeated the East Henderson Eagles 59-0 here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium. The Brevard Blue Devils got a non-conference victory over the North Buncombe Black Knights. Brevard yet to play a conference game. This will be the conference opener for the Blue Devils. The Panthers 1-0 in the Mountain 8 Conference. These two teams have played for a long time, Byron, but haven't played in 4 years.
Yeah, it's, if you've been around Franklin football for a while, like I have and many that are watching, Brevard is an opponent you're very familiar with. Now, we have sort of lost touch with them a little bit over the years as Franklin High School was a little bit larger in attendance. Brevard went down to 2A in the old way of counting things. Of course, now it's Franklin, of course, is 5A, and but in no way doing things. It was they were our size and they were smaller, so they would dip in and out of our conference. But if you remember, George, it wasn't that long ago. Somebody took me to task talking about the culture and how the Brevard community, the football team, had sort of lost its way, right? And I stick by those words still today, because if you were around playing Brevard High School in the 80s and 90s, those were 70s, those were dominant teams. They were teams that got your attention, not just the week you were playing, but you were talking about those teams in the summertime. It is nice for us to be back in the conference with Brevard. A lot of people might not know this. This series, first game between these two teams, 1933. 1933. Now, there's been a lot of playing and not playing, so unfortunately, this is one of those series where Franklin is on the downside here in the head-to-head matchup, George. 23 wins for Brevard, 12 for Franklin, and that was fueled by an 11-year stretch where Brevard went 11-0 against Franklin, some of those powerhouse teams that I mentioned earlier.
Mentioned that the Panthers and the Blue Devils have not played in 4 years. That's because they were not in the same conference. But over the past 4 years, Brevard has had a resurgence. If you have not followed, if you're a Panther fan, not followed the Blue Devils because they haven't been in the conference that the Panthers have played, they have had back-to-back tremendous seasons. Last year lost to Monroe, the Red Hawks, in the regional final. And we know about Monroe. It was 10 years ago. Coming up in November, we went the day after Thanksgiving and played Monroe in the third round of the state playoffs. They ended up winning a state championship that year, so you know the tradition that Monroe has. So Brevard the previous year also went deep into the playoffs, and it was a double-digit win season for the Blue Devils. And a lot of those players off of those teams are back, including their starting quarterback. Got a lot of seniors on this team.
You do. And look, if you're at home and you're trying to remember that last time that Franklin played Brevard, you might have missed it. That was in the 2021 season, the COVID comeback season, where football got kicked from the fall all the way to a late winter sport. And Franklin fell, and that was a heartbreaker. Just a couple, 31-29, I think Brevard snatched it away from us. But you might very well have missed that game for that reason. It was an odd time of year. There wasn't a whole lot of people focusing on sports, a lot of other things going on in not only in your community but your country. But, yeah, the past couple of years, this Brevard football program, they're on an uphill tick, George, to your point. Last year outed by perennial power Monroe. And Brevard this year, the team you're going to see tonight, is fueled by a lot of upperclassmen at the skill position. And we're going to talk about them a lot. The quarterback position, the wide receiver position, the running back position, and even on defense. These are highly skilled, highly athletic kids. They've got a great shot. They're 3-0 right now. Franklin at 3-1 coming in this game. Brevard 3-0 with impressive victories. And they're not just beating people, George. They're laying it on people. They've beat AC Reynolds. They've beat Irwin, and they beat North Buncombe. This will be a test tonight for the Panthers.
We're about to have the national anthem here on the field, so we will pause for the Panther Marching Regiment to play our national anthem. It's our national anthem before tonight's contest. We're going to take a break, and we'll get the toss of the coin. Going to welcome Mike Wood back to the broadcast right after this.
A lifelong resident of Franklin, Jeff Berry has a vision moving the town of Franklin forward, an entrepreneur with investments inside the town limits. He knows the critical infrastructure needs of the town. Jeff Berry would like your support in November. When you cast your ballot on November 4th, vote Jeff Berry for Franklin Town Council.
Welcome back to E.J. Whitmire Stadium, getting set for tonight's Mountain 8 conference battle between the Panthers and the Blue Devils of Brevard. You saw the national anthem played by the Panther Marching Regiment. They are ready to bring the Panthers onto the field, and the captains have yet to make their way onto the field. There was a little confusion with the clock. You see our clock there, 2 minutes. It was about a 5-minute differential, and they changed it about 10 minutes ago. I'm not sure if the locker rooms
team knows
that the clock has been changed, so yeah. it may be a little bit after 7:30 before we get this one underway. The umpire, the white hat and line judge, and all of them are out onto the field. They may go and.
We were in a lightning delay.
Oh, lightning delay.
We're in a lightning.
If you'd like to clear the bleachers, you may be under the press box.
There.
Be under shelter.
There's a storm here. Oh my, there sure is. Look at there.
Wow. Yeah, just to to our east. Yeah.
My goodness.
We're checking out the Doppler radar, and just to our east there is a storm cell. We're just finding out now. Someone had just popped into Mark Sutton next door, let him know lightning was spotted close enough. You know, if it's rain, not a big deal, but even in dry weather, lightning is a no-no. Wow. Players have been removed, band members have been removed, and spectators have been asked to seek shelter. Of course, they're probably the last to, succumb to those rules. But that came out of nowhere. We have sat in this window, what we affectionately call the Gary Ayers press box. Daniel Hooker's been so good to us tonight, helping us get fans on us and stuff because the sun just blaring in on us. And the last thing we expected here, as the Panther band took the field, was to be put in a lightning delay. As George and I are sitting here talking about, are the teams aware that the clock is running down and they're expected on the field? And little did we know, but obviously the officials had let the teams know that we are in a lightning delay.
Well, I tell you, Byron, I had no clue that there was even a chance of rain.
No.
And this was the last thing that I had anticipated for tonight. So
wasn't on your bingo card.
It was not on the bingo card. So we are, before we even get this one underway, and Mark Sutton just told me that it's 6 miles away. And there's a halo of, I think, 10 miles.
It is 10, yep.
Me and Daniel Hooker had this conversation the first night of the season back on August 22nd about the lightning delay. And Western has dealt with that at Wake Forest. They were there, I think, on the air for about 8 hours on and off. Had to wait a long time. And different schools have different radiuses. Some have 8, some conferences have 8, some have 10. And they were in a big discussion, the Southern Conference was, about what officially was the lightning radius.
Yeah.
And he said that at Western it was 10, but some schools it's 8.
Well, and look, not to talk down to anybody that's listening tonight, but lightning, moves quick. It does not just move vertically, it moves horizontally. And it often gets here without any prior warning, right? So whether you think it should be 6, 8, or 10, as George says, here in Cullowhee, USA, 10 miles is the agreed-upon radius. This storm cell pops up at 6 miles, and therefore we are we're going to interview Philip.
We do have some lightning delay programming. Oh, it's good stuff, too.
Okay.
So it's a 30-minute delay from when the lightning strike hits, and it happened about 3-4 minutes ago, I'm assuming. So at the earliest we're going to kick off is probably about 10 after, maybe 8 to 10 after, because it's 7:32 right now. So we're going to stay on. We're not going to leave the airwaves. The Panther Pit documentary.
Oh.
If you have not seen the Panther Pit documentary, it's 45 minutes, and we may max that out. It could be a couple of more strikes, and we may advance out the lightning delay. It is a Thursday night, too, so that also is a factor here.
George, I remember, I think you and I worked on that a little bit.
We did a little bit last year. And if you haven't seen it, it is obviously up on our YouTube and also on Facebook. YouTube's a little easier to find than Facebook because there's a bunch of other things that have been posted since we did post the Panther Pit documentary. But last year, me, Dan Hunter, and a lot of other folks, Billy Van Hook, had a big hand in putting together a documentary on 75 years of the Panther Pit. Now, we had a video last week of the Panther Pit gone, and big mud pit, big dig is what I called it. They are rebuilding, and that should be done in the spring. And next year, the Panthers will be playing on a new surface and a field, while the school behind the gym and everything else is being built directly behind. So if you haven't seen the Panther Pit documentary, we'll see it here in a second.
Yeah, and I want to point this out since we're looking for a filler, as Mike Wood calls it.
Yeah.
If you are a Maconian, if you're around Franklin Panther football, I was telling my son, who is actually working at the high school site right now as part of his internship, he was talking about, man, this is really kicking us back. This wet weather for 2 weeks and constant rain it's really setting us back. And I said, son, this is exactly why for years. You go back in old press clippings, George, you and I discovered this, and Dan Hunter and Eddie Sutton and Billy Van, everybody that was involved in this went back all the way to the 40s and 50s, where the Franklin Press talked about, and it's always in September. It's always in September. It's in conjunction with a hurricane or a couple of very dense tropical storms that come through the mountains and just dump buckets of water. That Panther Pit couldn't hold it, George. I told Miles, I said, you guys and your operators in there in the big dig that you call it, you guys are experiencing the kind of pain that the football team used to. There was a old sports editor by the name of J.P. Brady. He put it best one time. I was reading, this was like in the 50s, and he said that Coach was considering outfitting the players with scuba gear instead of new jerseys this year, because that's how the Panther Pit would get it. Just couldn't take the water, couldn't hold the water, couldn't get rid of the water. And hopefully your expose last week was very good. I think it got a lot of watches, and I think everyone awaits more of that. But that is exactly what it almost looks like it's been over-engineered to handle water. I hope so that the kids in the future can play on the dry surface.
All right, so we are at least 30 minutes until we will we'll kick this one off. So enjoy the Panther Pit documentary. 75 years of the Panther Pit right now.
For 75 years, the Panther Pit has stood as an enduring symbol of our community. More than just a football stadium, it has witnessed graduations, folk festivals, senior class days, track meets, youth sports, band performances, and the crowning of many homecoming queens. As for football, it's a place where countless young men forged their character, where small-town rivalries were ignited, where hometown heroes were discovered, at a place where generations of fans found a place to belong on Friday nights. Whether you were on the field, in the band, or watching in the stands, the Pit brings up nostalgic memories for all of us. From its humble beginnings to its present status, the Panther Pit has become an integral part of our community. Its transformation over the last 75 years is rooted in the generosity this community is known for. There are tons of stories to tell, and surely we won't be able to share all of them in our video, but this tribute is meant to capture the Pit's history and stroke great memories for those who have been a part of it. We hope this video will spark conversations about what made the Panther Pit so special, both within our community and beyond. We will explore the history of this beloved venue and document its biggest changes throughout 75 years. Along the way, we hope to highlight the people and selfless dedication that made it a legendary part of our community. This documentary has involved many hours of research. We have scoured the local press archives and conducted numerous interviews with folks that have a first-hand account of the last 75 years. And we found two things that are certain. The Pit has received a ton of work over the last 75 years in terms of the field and playing surface, amenities for fans, and facilities for the players. These changes have been driven by the generosity of our local people. Civic groups and individual fans have given resources, time, and money to change it for the better. There is a ton of excitement about the future Franklin High School campus and the new Panther Pit. But let us first pause and say a proper goodbye to this one. We hope that you enjoy this video as we look back over the 75 years at our very own Panther Pit. Today's players and fans pull up to the Panther Pit and see a lush green Bermuda surface that many say is the best in Western North Carolina. But this hasn't always been the case. The story of how Franklin High School's football field came to be is a story that started over 100 years ago. While Panther football itself started in 1926, it would be at least 20 years before Franklin High School would make our current field its official home. In the early years, Panther teams played games in a few places, including several years playing on a field located on Depot Street. In 1923, Miss Margaret Kozad donated land to Franklin High School that would eventually become its home. Her donation was intended to be a place for Franklin High School students to congregate and play. Records describe the property as a 500 by 330-foot swampy lot. Not surprising, since the property literally was in a valley with a small branch running into it. The small branch and the property's natural topography would prove to be a challenging feature over the next 100 years. It was 15 years later when the lot was first graded and leveled. An outdoor basketball court was placed in the corner of the south side of the field, and wooden fencing was installed. But perhaps the most important work conducted in 1938 would be a foreshadowing of an issue that still plagues the field today. The question was, what do we do with the water? History tells us that two different tactics were employed to deal with the water in 1938 and 1943. One involved directing the stream into a ditch that would run across the north side of the field. The other was completed with help of WPA funds. It directed the stream into an underground tile which was placed under the field. This work would be the first of numerous attempts over the years to mitigate the effect of groundwater on the football field. But while many saw the water as a problem, former player Howard Johnson said it provided some much-needed relief during his football practices in the late 1940s.
Well, we used to, when we'd be running laps, there was a drain place where the spring branch came through under the field, and we'd disappear one at a time to get a drink of water down in that hole. See, they'd cover for each other so we didn't get caught. We'd drop off in there and get us a drink, and then.
Johnson claims that the field we play on today is way above the one that he played on in the late 1940s.
But now the field that I played on, it's probably underground 30 feet. They kept filling in, and filling in.
Yeah, but it's in the same place that it is now.
It's same field, yeah.
And he would be right. While it is hard to know exactly how many times fill was brought in to raise the field, we do know it happened multiple times. If the water native to the property wasn't enough, the September and October rains only made it worse. Various editions of the 1952 Franklin Press mention how a wet field with poor drainage made a mess of a playing surface. In September of that year, J.P. Brady wrote that 2,000 fans braved the rain, muck, and mire to watch the Panthers host Clayton. In his editorial column, he stated our local boys might as well be playing in diving suits rather than uniforms. Coincidentally, the Lions Club started a project that same year. One of the main focuses was aimed at dealing with the condition of the football field during the rainy season, citing the need for better drainage of surface water. The plan called for new grading that would promote better drainage. Project leaders Harley Stewart, Charlie Sutton, and Harold Enlow led the charge to bring in dirt, reseed, and fertilize the field. Just a few years later, in 1956, the VFW donated another $1,000 to regrade the playing surface with more field dirt in addition to plugging new grass with fertilizer. While the 1960s didn't see any significant changes to the field, it did provide perhaps the most historic change in the 75-year history of the pit. The field was widely criticized as one of the worst surfaces to play on in western North Carolina. Over the years, many organizations and citizens had donated money, equipment, and time to seed, sod, and fertilize the hard-packed surface. But by early in the football season, what grass that managed to live through the summer in the hard-packed red clay had been beaten down. The field, for all intents and purposes, was usually bare. Between the groundwater issues and heavy rains of the fall, many Friday nights involved muck and mud. Quite frankly, when the ground was dry, it was hard. Harder than most places. This was despite the many efforts over the years to bring in fill dirt when resodding or seeding. These conditions, along with the natural way the field sat below the surrounding topography, led many folks in western North Carolina to nickname Franklin's football field as the Gravel Pit, the Rock Pit, Astro Dirt, or the Dust Bowl. Some area coaches would threaten not to bring their kids to play on a surface that was as poor as the one at Franklin High School. At least 2 western North Carolina football coaches had publicly stated they wouldn't allow their teams to play in Franklin again until something was done about the field, citing the lack of grass, rocky red clay, and the lack of facilities as a reason. Franklin's football facilities were getting a bad name. Speaking of a name, the Panther Pit. Ever wonder where that came from? You would be wrong to think that the name is as old as the stadium itself. The first credited reference of the name the Panther Pit took place in the late 1960s in an interesting story. Turns out it was a player who first referred to it this way. Former coach Joe Hall gives credit squarely to one man, Keith Corbin. Keith was a multi-sport athlete in the late 1960s at Franklin High School. A member of the football team, he often heard and read about opposing coaches complaining about having to bring their teams to Franklin's tough turf. Corbin, a leader of his squad, rallied his team and said, "That's right, boys. The fact is, they don't want to play us in the Panther Pit." The name stuck, and through the early 1970s, it was being referred to more and more as the Pit or the Panther Pit. The first evidence of this in the stadium was a small sign placed under the scoreboard in the west end zone. And now for 50-plus years, it is what Panther fans and foes have called this place. Bill Dyer first arrived as head coach at Franklin High School in 1974, but his first impressions of Franklin were shaped when he was a student at Mars Hill College, traveling back and forth to his home in Georgia. He recalls the first memory of the place he would eventually settle and live his life.
Going from Mars Hill as a student to my home in Georgia many times I came through Franklin, so I kind of had the lay of the land of the town and the community just from passing through. And I would drive by Franklin High School, and the sign out front with the Panther on it kind of caught my attention, and I thought, somebody cares. That's a pretty neat sign, and they must care about their athletics.
One of his assistants at the time had a similar feeling when he first got to town. David Morgan arrived in 1973 and quickly learned that this town had exactly the feel he was looking for.
I graduated from Morris Hill College, and when I came here to Franklin, coming down the roads, they got smaller and smaller, and I thought I was going to end up riding off the end of the earth. But come and pull it into Franklin, the people here were exactly like Morris Hill was. I could have lived the rest of my life at Morris Hill. They were so friendly, the teachers and atmosphere of everything. Franklin was the same way. I fell in love with Franklin the first few hours I was here. The people I met, they were so nice. And coming in, and as far as athletics, we weren't the top in our stadium, in our field, in our track especially. Like I told you, track hadn't even been started as a program at Franklin High School in '73. We did our training around the football field and had a little path which was about 2 feet wide. We had to hand dig our jumping pits for long jump and triple jump. No way to pole vault, nothing around to pole vault in. We had to practice our hurdles up behind the stadium on a little bit of asphalt, or either go up on the road right in front of the gymnasium and run our hurdles, because that was the only flat surface we had to measure them off, and not on the grass. So things like that. Our football field, we had the old-timey goalpost with one stem in the middle, and you go out and then go straight up.
Dyer knew that he would have a lot of work to do with his football program and its facilities. There wasn't a ton of money or a crew devoted to field maintenance at the time. It pretty much fell on the shoulders of the rookie head coach. Luckily, he made quick friends with a man more willing to help.
One of the first friends I made, and I think he was on the school board at that time, was Jerry Sutton. And Jerry and I had lots of conversations about the field. And he had aspirations of improving the surface and all. And I guess it was the next, after that first season, I think I'm right, Jerry used all his farm equipment, and they came in and dumped a bunch of topsoil. And I say topsoil, it was basically sand. And what we didn't know at the time, and they cut that sand in trying to break the clay up, was the thinking. But the sand had some type of exotic weed in it. and that spring I looked out there and I thought, that ain't grass.
Former Associate Superintendent Gene Young had the same recollection about the playing surface and the challenges it presented.
The field itself was always rough. We didn't pay that much attention to it because we didn't know any better. We didn't know people had other better fields. It was rough, and it was also wet. Up where the student parking lot was basically a cow pasture with the creek coming down. And they finally put the creek in a pipe that probably wasn't big enough because it never did handle the water correctly. But it wasn't student parking, and it wasn't used much for anything. There was a house right above it. Billy, I don't know whether you remember the house or not, but John Swan lived in it. It was about 30 yards, that would be west of where the steps come down now at the main entrance. There was a house there, and John Swan lived in it, and he was a good football player. He played, and he was a good basketball player. At the front of the campus, on one side where the road goes down now, the superintendent's office was there at that time. On the other side was the Tom Thumb restaurant.
Later, in 1982, a joint effort of concerned citizens and athletic personnel embarked on yet another project that would address the field. Attention was given to the visitor side of the field, which historically stayed a mess from water runoff. Proper drainage and grading were installed to make it safer and more fan-friendly. The project also involved yet another field dirt project, topped with the sowing of modern, tougher turf. A sprinkler system was also installed to keep the grass watered and lush during the hotter and drier months of the year. In 1984, local officials gave the go-ahead in what would prove to be the biggest change to the Panther Pit's appearance. A 6-lane running track was approved that would allow the Panthers' track teams to practice and hold events, plus give the public a nice, comfortable place to walk or run in the evenings. The track, while a great addition, did include one heartache. The beloved pine trees that had surrounded the field for 35 years had to go.
In the 60s and 70s, there were pines down there, and when you kicked an extra point, it would go over there and somebody'd have to go get it. So they took all of that out and tried to get the track in there. The track had to be forced in. There was never enough room, and it cost a fortune to get it in there. It was pretty expensive, and even at that, it was a trouble spot for years. There was just too much water. And Jack Mashburn, who was probably the smartest man I've worked with, was a maintenance guy, and he said, if you put it in there, you better put locks on both gates and throw away the key, because you don't need any traffic on that thing. And I don't think the traffic ever hurt it, because there wasn't much, just maintenance, and I guess the concession people drove over it a little bit, but the water never would settle down.
In the years of 1992, 93, and 94, the Panther Pit playing surface underwent perhaps its biggest transformation. From grass to goalpost, the Panther Pit was rebuilt. Mr. Lewis Penland, a longtime friend and supporter of Franklin High School athletics in general, led this charge. Tons of sand and soil were trucked in. The field was professionally graded, a new irrigation system installed, and new grass, a much tougher, more resilient Bermuda grass. In addition, Franklin's asphalt track was rubberized. This was a big deal and took a lot of donations and hard work from the community to get it accomplished. It served not only the school well, as they would go on to secure conference, regional, and even a state track championship over the next 5 years, but the public in general utilized the track for exercise and rehabilitation. The Bermuda grass was plugged in the early 1990s, and it took hold and now stands as the most impressive natural surface around. While the 1992 project and planning started this, one should realize that it's the meticulous attention that is given year-round that has made it what it is today. Mr. Penland continued to contribute to the fertilizing of the field over the years. That regular feeding, along with the expertise lent by Richard Clark of Clark & Company, has kept it in pristine form. Various generous donations have afforded the school the finest equipment for its maintenance. These contributions, along with the many hours that coaches like Josh and Jay Brooks have spent, have cemented it as the finest natural surface in western North Carolina. What would a high school football game be without fans in the bleachers? Can you imagine a time when the Panther Pit had none? The September 1948 edition of the Franklin Press has a front-page article about the decision of local leaders to build a first-class athletic field on the campus of Franklin High School. Lighting installed in 1946 had allowed various sports and activities to take place on the field for years. But this group wanted what they had referred to as a concrete stadium that would be a permanent facility for their football program. On the eve of Monday, August 30th, 1948, a meeting was held at the Agricultural Building on the campus of Franklin High School. In addition to some local citizens, members of the Lions Club, Rotary Club, American Legion, and VFW were present. Bob Gaines was elected as chairman of this committee and appointed members Don Allison, Paul Russell, John Archer, and school principal at the time, W.H. Finley, in charge of the project. This was the community's first attempt at making a permanent home for the high school football team, that would allow locals and visitors to sit comfortably, buy concessions, and root for their team. The project specifications called for a 500 to 600 seat concrete stadium. The estimated cost to build the stadium after donated material and labor was $1,000. The VFW offered to advance the committee $500 in order to get the project off the ground. Details are given to build seating with 8-inch concrete piers every 5 feet and use wooden seats on the span inside the two 35-yard lines. The plans also called to remove an existing wooden fence on the property and replace it with a metal fence between the field and stands, and to plant pine trees to act as a hedge all around the field. In preparation for the seating, Fred Moore had graded out the area where the bleachers would be poured. You can see that cut in this 1948 team photo where the Panthers are seated on the new bleachers. This will be approximately where the current concession stand is today. C.S. Brown offered to use his concrete mixer and labor to help operate it. W.C. Burrell provided trucks to haul sand, gravel, and cement. Other contributors included Stewart's Esso Station, Charlie Shields, the Natahala Talk Company, Zickraft Hardwood, and Franklin Hardware. The concrete was poured by Mr. E.J. Whitmire with the help of his FFA students. This initial work was done at a rapid pace. Hopes were that the Panther faithful would see some of these improvements as they prepared to host Andrews on September 17, 1948. In an article of the Franklin Press that month, they pointed out that the committee members agreed that additional funds would need to be raised as more improvements will be made in the future. It did not take long for that to happen. A November 11, 1948 Franklin Press article informs us that the price tag had been updated to an estimated $3,000 and that the entire cost except for $100 had been raised by public donations. Many local businesses had donated supplies and labor to keep the cost to a minimum. Cash contributions came from all over town, with the largest coming from civic and veterans organizations. The Lions Club, Chamber of Commerce, and VFW all donated proceeds from their recent benefit air show conducted at the Macon County Airfield on September 19th. Countless citizens and businesses donated anywhere between $2 and $25. Excitement about football was taking hold in Franklin, North Carolina. In early November of 1948, a meeting of athletic and school officials, citizens, and all boys in the high school was called by then Superintendent of Macon County Schools, Mr. G.L. Houck. The purpose was to drive kids back to not only playing football, but athletic competitions in general. The school had recently hired its first athletic director, and interest had been growing. Only 5 months later, in March of 1949, Bob Gaines and his committee met in the showroom of Burrell Motor Company, where an ambitious plan to triple the stadium's seating capacity, as well as fence and shrub the entire perimeter of the field, were discussed. The Franklin High School Stadium officially was dedicated on October 21, 1949. The October 20th, 1949 Franklin Press has a front-page story about the stadium dedication, and it was apparent that the project had indeed grown as a result of the March 1949 meeting. The article details that the stadium cost around $10,000 and seats over 1,800 fans. The expanded facilities had improved restrooms and had a dressing room area added for players. The article states the original 600-seat venue was built and quickly became obvious that it wasn't going to be large enough to seat the fans, and the size had to be tripled. The dedication states that this is the largest and best constructed stadium in all of Western North Carolina. Although the stadium was fully dedicated on this date, the community already had plans for more improvements. There were small projects planned, such as the installation of a PA system and higher quality lighting. A June 1952 article in the Franklin Press told readers that the Lions Club, under the direction of George R. Patillo, were planning on building a new and improved press box. It would be a 2-story block building that would require the demolition of the one just built. At 11 feet by 11 feet, it would have concessions in the lower section and a press section on the second floor. An 8-foot glass observation window would allow concession workers to watch the game while serving patrons. The plan also called for speakers to be attached to the corners. The Lions Club also planned a renovation of the turf with fill dirt, reseeding, and fertilization. The estimated cost was $350, and citizens were directed to contact either Harley Stewart, Harold Enlow, or Charlie Sutton if they wanted to donate money. In the August 21st, 1952 Franklin Press, there was an article where the full Lions Club endorsed the project and it was set in motion. It was a success and raised twice the amount needed, and it was all spent on a nice 2-story structure at the improving stadium. In the September 25th, 1952 edition of the Franklin Press, J.P. Brady talks about the 2,000 fans that braved the rain to watch the home Panthers beat Clayton. Brady was also excited about 2 more projects started for the improvement of the football field. The Lions Club, fresh off building a new press box, were eyeing a plan to provide bleachers to the visitor side of the stadium. And Dr. Furman Angel, a huge Franklin football fan, backed a move to bring the first electronic scoreboard to the stadium. Dr. Angel raised the money to buy the scoreboard with the help of many local citizens. The scoreboard cost $1,267 and was state-of-the-art for that era. Contributors to the scoreboard were Dr. Furman Angel, Lake Shope, Kate McGee, John M. Archer, E.W. Renshaw, Harley Stewart, Parker Norton, Marie Rogers, Dr. Ben P. Grant, Grace White Allen, Norman Blaine, and W.N. Sloan. And Franklin opened its 1953 season hosting Andrews with a new press box and electric scoreboard on full display. With some minor adjustments to seating and landscaping in 1956, Franklin had a stadium that would accommodate fans for many decades to come. It concluded a remarkable 8-year transformation of a swampy lot donated in 1923 to a solid venue for high school football. Articles in the press routinely talk of crowds in excess of 2,000 or 3,000 at ball games, and the field also became a gathering place for locals. Each year, Franklin held a folk festival that featured arts, crafts, and music, and this continued for many years to come at the stadium. The summer of 1976 brought the first major renovation to the Panther Pit's facilities in 20 years. These renovations were expansive, and what head coach Bill Dyer would refer to later as perhaps divine providence. More on that later. The Panther Pit was far behind in terms of amenities for spectators, and it simply did not meet state standards to host playoff games.
When I first saw the football stadium, the Panther Pit, I was shocked because that was not my previous experience in other schools, at how low the stands, home side stands were and how far back they were from the field. And I thought, it's kind of hard to get people to engage and be enthusiastic about what's going on the field when you're that remote. It was run down. It needed a lot of work.
As a new head coach, Dyer had adopted a stadium that needed renovation. He was happy to see that local people cared and were willing to act.
The Booster Club used to meet in the football stadium I guess during football season, and I was invited to come, and again, Jerry Sutton was very involved with that. But I think whoever called the meetings is kind of a nice move to bring people right there in the stadium, and so the people that you knew cared and supported, to bring them into that stadium and have a meeting. I mean, what better testimony can you give? And even the first year I was here and the Booster Club was meeting there, one of the topic of conversations is we got to do something about the stadium.
Dyer was quick to point out the leadership and manual work that his longtime friend Jerry Sutton lent to the football program during those years.
You've got to have community leadership. I mean, you can have people with the best intentions, but somebody's got to step out.
Dyer also fondly recalls the service from a man who many consider the biggest Panther fan of all time.
Tommy, he and I we re-roofed my house in town and replaced some windows and stuff. But when it came time for us, and we've been in the house we're in now for 25 years, Tommy had retired from house building and was doing staircases in Highlands and Cashers. And I called him up, called his son first, and then I called him. I said, Tommy, I want to build a house. Will you do it? There's a big old long pause. I guess so.
Tommy Roden, for decades, helped athletic programs at Franklin High School, and he was a huge part of the 1976 project. He led the charge in constructing so many of the structures that served Panther fans for years. While many knew him as a fan who attended every game he could, many might not know how much he did to help.
Tommy built a lot of stuff. We recognized him one night when I was principal over there, and I wish we had done more for Tommy. Tommy did a lot of things, and I wish he could be sitting right here instead of me.
The summer of 1976 stadium renovation created a lot of excitement and involved many people. Up until this time, the visiting team's bleachers were limited and quite frankly dangerous. Once removed, Macon County Rec Park officials actually moved their bleachers into the area each week to provide adequate and safe seating. In addition, permanent concession stand and visitors' restrooms were added. On the home side, the concession stand was totally redone and restrooms were added for the general public. At that time, Tommy Roten took the old restroom and created a coach's office that would include a private place for coaches and game officials to change and to shower.
With the renovations, Tommy Roten, they had redone the bathrooms and the press box and everything. And Jerry Sutton and I went, I don't know where he found it or how he found it, but he and I went to Andrews, and the glass that's on the front of the press box, we hauled back in his truck to Franklin for them to put those, and that glass weighed a ton. I don't know where it came from or anything, probably military surplus. But we brought that, and I guess that's what's still up there. I don't know if they haven't redone it, but Tommy Roten was doing an awful lot trying to get everything ready for that football season. There was a lot of moving parts going on at that time, but he did that, and that was when they built the visitors concession stand. It was an old plywood building that had been there before.
Aside from enhanced lighting, the other big change came with the home side bleachers. Up until this point, Franklin fans were still sitting in the original bleachers from 1949. Not only did they need an upgrade, they were so far away from the actual field of play.
What happened in the summer, the spring and the summer, is if you look at it now, there's a massive wall that's right behind the first set of bleachers that are there. And that first set of bleachers, on the home side, that first set of bleachers were bought new. That was the first year we used them. And they had this massive wall because you had the old stands were so far back that they built the wall, and you still had the old stands behind that wall. So it was filled, the old stands were covered with field dirt. And then that was paved over, and then more of the bleachers from the rec park were lined up on the top level, which are now permanent. But that was the construction project.
These original bleachers would actually be underneath the present-day concession stand that was built in 2002. And as you can imagine, this left an incredible amount of distance between the fans and the field. Many Panther fans may recall that the light poles were actually between the crowd and the game. According to former player Chuck Sutton, a single string tied between the poles separated the sidelines from an area where small kids would play tag football during the games. Sound familiar, huh? Sutton recalls his FFA group taking time from class to help demolish the old bleachers in preparation for field dirt that would be placed over top. This required a concrete retaining wall to be poured and create two levels on the home side that still exist today. New seating was placed in front of the wall to bring fans closer to the game. The upper tier was filled and paved to create a level for the new and improved two-story concession stand and press box. Temporary bleachers were brought in for the upper level on either side of the press box. This kept an incredible summer of work at the pit. The 1976 playoff run included 3 state playoff games in the Panther pit. That simply would not have happened if not for the renovations earlier that summer. As fate would have it, Dyer's We Believe bunch got to play at home, a key part in their success in securing the 1976 North Carolina 2AA state championship.
The only game we had on the road was Charlotte Catholic. And the brackets, there were, you start out with 16 teams, and you're playing conference champions each week. And if we had not improved the stadium, if it had not been improved, we would not have qualified to host a home game. You're talking about divine providence or whatever you want to call it. we would not. We'd have had to play 4 road games.
It was early 1982 when concerned parents and fans stepped in and started the first of several renovations. The first step was a general cleaning, fixing up, and rebuilding, including repairing and repainting the bleachers and adding a large and inviting gesture to the opposing teams and fans. A sign was added under the freshly painted concession stand with the words, "Welcome to the Pit." A year later, in 1983, $10,500 in privately raised funds allowed the Booster Club to add some new bleachers, new pavement, new lighting, and improved landscaping. Later that year, the Fieldhouse received an addition as well. A section that we presently host opposing football teams was added that year. It was intended to be multi-purpose, including a place where wrestling teams could practice. Boosters also made a significant improvement in terms of comfort. They spent $5,000 on renovating the coaches' offices. There were significant lighting upgrades once again, but not the location of the lights themselves. As many may recall, the light poles were actually in the bleachers at that time. Instead of moving them, video monitors were placed on the poles for fans to see live and replay video. Booster Club President Sonny Burrell said the project cost was mainly for materials, as the club members and local contractors supplied the labor. By the early 1990s, the standard for football field houses was again changing. The 1968 and 1983 Fieldhouse additions were nice, but not exactly roomy. Around that time, Mitch Myers came to Franklin in 1992, and the Panther Pit went through a huge overhaul. We mentioned earlier the focus on improving the surface of the rubberized track, but perhaps the biggest addition was a new fieldhouse for the players. It was to be built in the corner of the east end zone, and its intention was to accommodate the varsity team and provide adequate space for a bigger, faster, stronger conditioning program, meant to help all athletes at Franklin High School. Construction started in the fall of 1992, and by 1994 it was in full use. Several major updates have occurred throughout the years, mostly from the generosity of people in our community. Today, it contains locker rooms for both varsity and JV teams, coaches' offices, team video room, storage for equipment and uniforms, a laundry room, and an athletic trainers area to see and treat players. In recent years, the weight training facility was moved to a vacant building just above the Fieldhouse. Anonymous donations made possible a major upgrade and purchase of new equipment. This move did two things. It allowed a dedicated weight training facility to be accessible by all athletes in the school, and it made room for Coach Brooks to create the JV locker room and the team video room. Fred Goldsmith led the 2001 Panthers to a 10-2 record and only their second conference championship in 25 years. This success coincided with one of the largest stadium renovations in the Panther Pit history. The community was excited about football and saw the possibility that the Panthers could be a perennial contender for the playoffs. But, much like 1976, the Panther Pit had to improve to meet state standards to host playoff games. Once again, Panther fans stepped up and put together a $250,000 project that would improve concessions, bathrooms, and seating for visitors at the Panther Pit. The old press box and concession stand that had served home fans for decades was to be replaced. It was failing, outdated, and not exactly safe by modern standards. A new and larger concession stand was built with spacious restrooms on the back half of the upper level against the bank, directly above the old bleachers, and the old bleachers were removed. Tons of concrete was poured to fortify the upper level to support newer modern seating, and this seating not only added to capacity but met safety requirements for the NCHSAA playoff requirements. Local contractor Ronnie Beal and his crew constructed the current press box, which is elevated just above this seating. The new press box actually sits on the top of the first Fieldhouse built in 1969. An anonymous donor stepped in and actually finished the press box in 2018, adding carpet, air conditioning, and heat. The wall of honor installed in the west end of the stadium helped fund the $250,000 project. Coach Brooks is quick to point out folks like Kevin Watson, Joe Sanders, and Richard Clark on specific projects that have benefited the Panther Pit over the last 25 years. There are countless others to mention here, including anonymous donors, but Brooks is quick to point out that the generosity of our community is unmatched and what makes Franklin so special to him. Since he took over the program in 2006, he has created a new, larger scoreboard in the east end zone. The 3 previous scoreboards were all in the west end zone. Concrete and asphalt have been installed in places that help Panther fans access and enjoy the pit and their hometown team. So where is Panther football going? Luckily, not far. In December of 2021, county leaders began a thorough due diligence project to explore the feasibility of replacing Franklin High School on its existing campus. In May of 2023, the Macon County Commissioners and the Macon County School Board jointly signed a memorandum of understanding reaffirming their commitment to the Franklin High School project. Part of this agreement was based on their intent to use funds received from a needs-based public school capital fund for the project's construction. And 7 months later, in January of 2024, Macon County was officially awarded $62 million for the project.
What put it over the finish line, and you know, you talk about how community and how that Franklin High School is a part of all of us. And you know, we were fortunate enough to have a senator in Matt's dad, Kevin, that went down to Raleigh and put Macon County first and fought for Macon County and was able to get us a $60 million grant that was able to that enabled us to build this brand new $137 million complex with no tax increase. And you know, that speaks volumes. I don't think that you can truly understand how big of a deal that is, that how fortunate we are here in Macon County, how much God has shown favor on Macon County, just the ability to be able to do what we're about to do in this coming year. It's going to be a spectacular venue. It's going to be first class, and it's going to be right where it is right now. So the pit, it's still going to be the pit. I mean, it's still going to be the place that we've all called home for all these years, and that's been made possible by the hard work of a lot of people. A lot of people.
Current boards, previous boards.
Current boards, previous boards, you know, commission boards that were made up of football players and football fans that have been fiscally responsible, not just for a few years, but for decades. And that has allowed us to be able to have money to go with that grant we got. So all those things, the people and the leaders of our community, they've really, and nobody has lobbied harder for it locally than Mr. Shields. To watch him and the passion and the drive with which he was able to get this project over the finish line. He and you know, Commissioner Josh Young, another icon in Franklin High School football, and you know, a huge part of the Franklin High School project, the votes that he cast and the links that he went to be sure that this project happened. Watching both those men who had direct ties to this program, that was it was very special to work with them and to watch them as they made this happen.
It's such a complex group of characters that are playing to make this happen, and it's a lot of passion, a lot of folks who are very passionate about the project, and a lot of fiscal responsibility from boards in the past that set us up as a county to be able to afford a project like this.
As construction begins, the first phase of a 3-phase project to replace Franklin High School with a new modern facility will involve demolition of the Panther pit, and the current playing surface and stadium will be shifted to the east. There'll be new bleachers, new scoreboard and press box, and artificial turf, along with a brand new track. But as so much will change, much will stay the same. The crowd, the players, the community spirit that made the Panther pit so special for the last 75 years is sure to carry on in this new place. And we invite all of you to be a part of it.
At Mountain Credit Union, we know summer plans start at home, and your home's equity can help make them happen. Upgrade, remodel, tackle unexpected expenses, or pay off high-interest debt. Control your finances with a home equity line of credit from Mountain Credit Union. Introductory rates are as low as 5.49 APR for the first 12 months. Call or stop by one of our local Mountain Credit Union branches today for details, or apply online at mountaincu.org.
Kids Place of Macon County is excited to announce the first ever 8-2-8 Treasure Quest. The event kicks off at the Macon County Rec Park with a field day competition where teams of 2 will compete in an array of physical and mental challenges that will test both their intellectual and athletic prowess. The top 5 field day contestants, along with the team that raises the most money for Kids Place, will advance on to the treasure hunt for a chance to win the ultimate grand prize of $10,000. Advancing teams will be taken to a specific location in town to compete in an action-packed team-based adventure where participants will race against the clock to complete challenges, solve clues, and travel to checkpoint across a series of exciting locations. It's part scavenger hunt, part obstacle course, and all-out fun. Teams must work to strategize, navigate, and compete for the fastest time in order to make it to their final destination and claim the $10,000 treasure. The only question is, do you have what it takes to win? Info and to register a team, visit 828treasurequest.com or scan the QR code. All the fun happens on Saturday, October 11th.
Well, we welcome you back to E.J. Whitmire Stadium, still in a lightning delay. Did have some rain that did move through. It scattered the fans below us, but many of them have headed back out and made their way back out into the stands. Just was given an update at the earliest, the all clear. Now, that's not when this game's going to start. The all clear is 8:47 is what Daniel Hooker just told me with Western Carolina University. There's a cell just to the east of us, and it is blown up out in really the mountains and just brushed us here, but it is lightning just to the east of us. We haven't seen any lightning or heard any thunder. I did get a text message from that there was some lightning as I say that. Our eye in the sky, that shot right there, our camera guy, he is safe. He is down here sitting right next to me here in the booth. We brought him back down as quickly as we can. The rest of our camera folks are in. There's some thunder right there. So there you go. That's another 30 minutes. So we're looking at, 8:53 now at the earliest that we will get this one underway. And then I've been told that when the teams do come back out, they're going to be allowed probably a 10-minute warm-up because they've been in the locker room for over an hour now waiting for this game to start. They exited the field a little bit after 7 o'clock, 7:10-ish. Both teams headed to the locker room. So they've been in the locker room for over an hour now, so they'll be allowed a few extra minutes to warm up and probably maybe even close to 15 minutes to warm up because this game never got started. If you just joined us, you tuned in late, hopefully you enjoyed the Panther Pit documentary. Even if you are a Brevard Blue Devil fan tuning in, we appreciate you logging on tonight and watching us here on the Franklin Panther Sports Network. A lot of history, a lot of games between Brevard and Franklin over the years, and we mentioned a couple of those in our pregame show when we got the word about the lightning delay. There are some other things that are happening in the background about whether or not it can be played tonight. Obviously, it is a school night. I don't know anything about it. Really don't want to know anything about it at this point because when those meetings, lots of things are discussed, so I don't want to put anything out publicly. That is not the case. But the fact we're playing on Thursday night, Western has a game on Saturday against Sanford at 2:30. They don't allow you to play on Friday night because they get the stadium set up. They get the locker rooms is what Daniel Hooker was telling me. The locker rooms are set for the visiting team and being Sanford, and then obviously for Western as well. They come in the morning, have all the training rooms set up. Also concessions, you've got trash. The concessions need to be restocked. So there's there's broadcast that needs to be set up. The Catamount Sports Network is in the booth we're in right now. We're in their booth actually. And they come in and set up the day before and get everything situated. The TV crews do the same thing with ESPN Plus. So there's a lot of moving parts here. Can't play it on Saturday, obviously, because of Western playing. And I was just alerted, there is a meeting of the minds happening right now. We don't have our camera guy to zoom in on it because he's down safe getting out of the lightning. But if you see to the left at the 10-yard line, there's a meeting of the minds happening. Can't tell who is in there, but hopefully something will come out of it. So we are still in a lightning delay. At the earliest, we just saw a lightning bolt about 3 minutes ago. 8:55-ish is when the all clear will be signaled if we don't get any more strikes. And looking at the radar, it's kind of blowing up. The cell to the east of us is kind of blowing up. And, there we go. Oh, one of our camera guys. Is that Josh? Awesome. They're the meeting of the minds right there. There's Dan Hunter. I see Josh Brooks. He's the one that's a little animated there. Some representatives from Brevard. And they're talking to see Matt Bradley as well, talking about what can be done tonight. And it is a Thursday night, so school is happening tomorrow. Brevard is over an hour away from Cullowhee, so after the game, obviously, they have to go back and probably be back at the house after midnight at this point, even if we started at 9 o'clock and this game lasted the average of about 2.5 hours. You're looking at after midnight getting back. And so they're discussing things here, the well-being of the students. Most of the fans have made their way back into E.J. Whitmire Stadium. A nice cool breeze blowing here. It's kind of cooled it off. And it's a perfect night if we can get some of this lightning out of here. All right, well, if you didn't see it last week, we were able to take a tour of the new Franklin High School Stadium project, the phase 1 of the new construction of the school. Tracy Talent with Macon County Schools was gracious enough to take us around. We got some great shots and got some commentary and kind of an insight into what's happening. If you didn't see it last week or didn't see it loaded onto our Facebook and YouTube pages this week, well, you'll see it right now. We'll be back with an update here in about 10 minutes. Hey folks, we've got something exciting for you today. Behind me is the Big Dig that I've affectionately called it. It's the new Franklin High School. The old Panther Pit football stadium has been torn up and they are constructing a new football field, phase 1 of the Franklin High School project. I'm George Young, this is Tracy Talent with Macon County Schools, and we're gonna take a tour of what's happening. Obviously, we are here in the middle of the action now, as this used to be where the Panthers played football. Obviously, it has been all taken out. They are adding dirt and adding buildings. There's a giant mound of dirt in the middle. Now, Tracy, give us a 360 view here. If somebody's driving by on Wyatt Street, they look over here. What's happening right here?
As you can see, the new lighting for the football field is in, all the Musco lighting. Obviously, all the construction material is still in the middle of the field, but we're getting close to that stage of that. And then as we swing over to the other side, then we have our home side locker rooms. That'll be BFS and PE and things like that will be housed in that building. As you can see, the crane setting some of the steel and some of the wall pouring apparatuses, and then up on top here, of course, that's our will be our press box and concession stand on top with a plaza area in there behind that, and then up there where the track hoe and the off-road trucks are, they're digging the basement for the gym areas. There will be 2 gyms in the new school, of course, a full-size gym and an auxiliary gym. And then as we swing around and you see the slope areas here in front of the press box, obviously that will be the stand area. We're hoping to have those in by sometime in October. So the project is really moving along. Our gym, old gym, is still in operation, so we will be having ball games and things there through the construction period.
And this is where the stands will begin, right here, and looking over. And then, as you can see here, you're considerably farther back from Wyatt Street than you were. In fact, when we went by over there with our initial tour, coming around to where we are now, you can see where they're constructing over there and digging out, and that the stands are going to be a lot farther back from the road.
Yeah, the stand's probably about 30 feet, but we moved the whole stadium in about 50 feet and down 50 feet. So that's what gave us more area for the plaza area up here. We actually took in the old practice field down below. And there will also be a bridge area that runs from the courtyard of behind the administration over to the second floor on the main building. So they can either go outside and into the new building or take the bridge over.
All right, that's almost going to wrap up our tour today, but we came back up here over on the Higdon property, and Tracy's going to tell us what's behind us here. This is actually a mock-up of what the school's going to look like, right?
Yeah, this is a
The
mock-up
exterior.
wall of the exterior finishes, our phenolic panels and the metal and the resin board here. Of course, it's our signature Panther red that's not supposed to fade, and of course the brickwork and the rock work that will be around some of the entrance areas, and of course the brickwork will be on the bottom floor, and the metal work on the top 2 floors, and the red part around the entrance of the school. So it's going to be nice.
And in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to a month, what can folks expect? There's going to be some dramatic changes here.
You're going to start seeing some major changes come along in the next few weeks with the bleachers being installed, hopefully by October. Also the roofs going on the visitors concession stand and area, and then also on to the home side areas as well. And then also you'll start seeing the brickwork go along and onto the press box.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and we're going to do this hopefully
Yes,
once
sir.
a month as the school is constructed. Tracy, thanks for the tour.
All right, thank you.
At Mountain Credit Union, we know summer plans start at home, and your home's equity can help make them happen. Upgrade, remodel, tackle unexpected expenses, or pay off high-interest debt. Control your finances with a home equity line of credit from Mountain Credit Union. Introductory rates are as low as 5.49 APR for the first 12 months. Call or stop by one of our local Mountain Credit Union branches today for details, or apply online at mountaincu.org.
Want to keep track of who and where the Panthers are playing each week? You need to pick up our poster-size printed fall schedule with the varsity schedules for Franklin volleyball, boys soccer, and football. They are absolutely free and available to pick up inside all the following locations across Macon County. RSR CarQuest Auto Parts at 521 Depot Street. They're locally owned and operated and committed to top-notch customer service. Head by Tipton Pharmacy at 175 East Main Street. Franklin's hometown pharmacy. From regular prescriptions to compound, they can fill them all. Dalton's Christian Bookstore has our schedules in the Franklin Plaza Shopping Center. They're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Rusted Arrow Market at the corner of Palmer and Porter Streets. They have our fall schedules inside, along with farmhouse decor, antiques, custom jewelry, unique handbags, and a lot more. Head by Divas on Main. They specialize in everything you need for homecoming and prom at 24 East Main Street. The Franklin Pizza Tavern at 607 Highlands Road. They're your destination for delicious pizza, salads, and more. Head by KL Metals at 270 Highlands Road. They're your one-stop shop for metal roofing and gutter supplies, along with installation and pick up a schedule. The WNC Sports Zone has our free schedules at the Franklin Plaza Shopping Center. They're your Franklin Panther fan gear headquarters. Head by Realty One Group Vibe at 52 Iola Street, Franklin's premier realtors. And you'll find the schedules at the Franklin Golf Course inside the clubhouse. Grab a schedule today and keep track of where the Panthers are playing each week.
A lifelong resident of Franklin, Jeff Berry has a vision moving the town of Franklin forward, an entrepreneur with investments inside the town limits. He knows the critical infrastructure needs of the town. Jeff Berry would like your support in November. When you cast your ballot on November 4th, vote Jeff Berry for Franklin Town Council.
All right, welcome back as the meeting of the minds continues at about the 20-yard line. Nothing has been decided. Did have a couple of lightning strikes while we were in the break. Pretty close one that shook the press box with some thunder, so that reset the clock. You see it now counting down 28 minutes. So we're after 9 o'clock at this point, even to get the teams out onto the field and to do some warm-ups. So, I mean, realistically, at this point, you're looking at least 9:15 before we could get this ball game underway. So the meetings continue between Josh Brooks, Matt Bradley, and the officials here at Western and Brevard The referees also are talking. I see Lynette Gibson and Dan Gibson, assistant principal here at Franklin High School, talking. Was that more lightning? Was it? Oh, man. I heard, oop, and I looked behind me, and executive producer Philip Angel said it's just lightning. So that's going to reset the clock again. How about let's reset that clock. It'll be another 30 minutes here at least before we get to action. So we're going to stay with you, and we appreciate you hanging wherever you may be tonight. Very frustrating. I know it's frustrating to all the folks that have made their way out. And, there's a lot of plans that are up in the air at this point with the fact that we're playing here at Western, can't play tomorrow. Can't play Saturday because Western's playing. Can't play tomorrow because logistically it's very difficult to flip the stadium with the limited staff that Western has. I get it. So there's a lot being discussed down on the field. All right. What are we going to do? We're doing Panther tracks? All right. We will hopefully give you another update in about 5 to 10 minutes. In the meantime, here's some Panther tracks on FPSN.
It's time now for Panther Tracks, a look back at the storied history of Franklin High School athletics.
I lived on Warrior Street is the parallel street down by the football field. I lived probably a half a mile down there, just up from the river, about 3 houses. So I was always continuously walking up through there. I walked to school 12 years in a row, so the football field was familiar to me. And then as soon as I was old enough, in the 8th grade, I started playing. The field was, and we didn't call it the Panther pit, we just called it the football field. And I would go up and watch part of the games when I was just 8, 9, 10 years old. I would just walk up there and listen to the announcer, and he would call out some familiar names. After a game or two, you could pick up on who was who. And Willard Smith was a common name. Robert Alexander must have been a super player. I went enough to know that I wanted to play as soon as I could. So we started in the 8th grade. Dick Stott was the coach then, and he put together an 8th grade team. We played Hayesville twice and split with them, and that was a big deal. We thought we were on our way to being big ball players. Joe Hall's the quarterback. Larry Clore, who used to be on the school board, was fullback. The year that I was a freshman, we had that was probably the best team we had while I was in high school. I was on the JVs, but Jim Williams and Red C. Red went on to Western and started a couple of years. Kenny Hall, Joe's brother, was tailback. Had Stompy Higdon at one end and Sonny Burrell at the other one. Had Johnny Taylor at guard. Johnny played at Gardner Webb. There were about 5 people on that team that played later on in college. But Murphy beat them 40-6, I think is the score. So after that, they had no chance of the playoff anywhere. Now you might get another shot at it some way, but everybody was kind of bunched together. I don't even know that they had, I guess they had 1A and 2A playoffs then, but Franklin and Murphy were in the same division. And like I told you a while ago, Murphy beat us about 12 years in a row. The practice field itself was down below, and we did not have much. My junior year, we actually went out and practiced during the week at Wayne Stewart's pasture out in the Patton community. We had an old Army truck. Grady Corbin would drive it. We'd get in the back of the truck, we'd go out to the Patton community and practice. Some other teams did that, but we didn't do it our senior year. The new coach that came in my senior year decided, we're not going to waste time driving out there every day. Let's try to practice football. Gene Stiles. So my junior year, we went out there. We didn't do it our sophomore year. We stayed and practiced on the small practice field. The practice field we have now up there wasn't available. The maintenance shed was up there. Well, the idea of a new school has been floating for 20 or 30 years. We did do some remodeling over there in the 80s, and that kind of put the big project on the back burner. But it was always floating, be looking for land. We need some land. We need to move out. There was no concrete plan or anything, or even any committees working on it. Commissioners built a new library in the 80s and the cafeteria. And that seemed to probably, just by the nature of building new buildings and renovating the main building, starting anew back about 30 years, I guess. Let me just say for the record, I've always been very proud of being a Panther. I've played 4 years in high school. I loved every minute of it. I've gone to Panther games every year since I was 10 years old, and I'll keep doing it as long as I can.
And that's been Panther Tracks. Stay tuned to FBSN as we look back at Panther athletics. Want to keep track of who and where the Panthers are playing each week? You need to pick up our poster-size printed fall schedule with the varsity schedules for Franklin volleyball, boys soccer, and football. They are absolutely free and available to pick up inside all the following locations across Macon County. RSR CarQuest Auto Parts at 521 Depot Street. They're locally owned and operated and committed to top-notch customer service. Head by Tipton Pharmacy at 175 East Main Street. Franklin's hometown pharmacy. From regular prescriptions to compound, they can fill them all. Dalton's Christian Bookstore has our schedules at the Franklin Plaza Shopping Center. They're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Rusted Arrow Market at the corner of Palmer and Porter Streets. They have our fall schedules inside, along with farmhouse decor, antiques, custom jewelry, unique handbags, and a lot more. Head by Divas on Main. They specialize in everything you need for homecoming and prom at 24 East Main Street. The Franklin Pizza Tavern at 607 Highlands Road. They're your destination for delicious pizza, salads, and more. Head by KL Metals at 270 Highlands Road. They're your one-stop shop for metal roofing and gutter supplies, along with installation and pick up a schedule. The WNC Sports Zone has our free schedules at the Franklin Plaza Shopping Center. They're your Franklin Panther fan gear headquarters. Head by Realty One Group Vibe at 52 Iola Street, Franklin's premier realtors. And you'll find the schedules at the Franklin Golf Course inside the clubhouse. Grab a schedule today and keep track of where the Panthers are playing each week. Welcome back. As you see, nothing much has changed here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium. You see the meeting of the minds continues. The meeting of athletic directors and head football coaches continue. Athletic director for Western and also the head coaches, Franklin and Brevard, and athletic directors continue. The officials are down there as well. We had a lightning strike about 10 minutes ago. I haven't seen it. Have you seen any more lightning strikes? So there's still a storm, according to the radar here, just to the south of us now. It has kind of moved to the east to southeast
just skirting Cullowhee. And it may have lightened itself out, if that's a term. But we're still looking at probably the earliest 9:20, 9:15, 9:20 before game action will start. They're going to allow the teams to come out and warm up. The question that remains is whether or not they're going to wait this out, because it is a school night. But there's a lot of things that have to be ironed out. One thing that I do know is if we do play tonight, there will be a very abbreviated halftime. And we had prepared this week to play an interview with Joshua Lynch, the Macon County Superintendent of Schools. So we're going to go ahead and play that. And had a great conversation with Joshua Lynch about the beginning of school and some of the hot-button issues affecting Macon County schools to begin the 2025-2026 school year. And we will hear that right now.
Welcome back. I'm George Young, now joined with the Superintendent of Macon County Schools, Joshua Lynch. And Josh, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and I really appreciate you agreeing to do this interview.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Well, we're going to learn a lot about Macon County Schools. Of course, the school year has just begun, an exciting time all across the nation, especially here in Macon County. And there's been a lot of change in Macon County Schools. Of course, the project to rebuild and build a new Franklin High School is ongoing. And there's a project at the Highland School also ongoing over the next couple of years, just like Franklin High School's project. And Josh is going to talk about that here in this interview. And the one thing, though, I want you to address as we begin. Beginning of school, it is an exciting time, and I know it has been a very successful time so far this season.
Yes. Like you said, it is a very exciting time when we are welcoming our students back. Teachers, principals, everyone, very busy over the summer, making certain that buildings and classrooms and campuses are just in tip-top shape so that our students get that best experience moving forward. And I think that is one of my most exciting times throughout the school year, is having that opportunity to welcome them back. I was at all of the campuses, all 11 throughout the district, those first days of school, and had the opportunity not only to interact with our teachers and administrative staff, but definitely our students and parents. And there's excitement levels on all ends. We have parents who are bringing their kindergarten student to school for the very first time, and the emotion that everyone goes through in that regard. So not only were there a few tears from students, but also from parents, and that's to be expected. But that is a very fun time, and it has been really a great start to the school year so far.
I know that there's been some chatter about some of the different policies that have been implemented, and then also some struggles with the bus driver situation. First, talk about the cell phone policy. This was something that is just not Macon County Schools. This is something that was statewide, right?
Absolutely. It is a statewide mandate, legislative mandate. It's also more national. Individuals, many different entities realize that cell phone usage really does get in the way of education and hinders the student's ability as well as the teacher's ability to maintain focus and order and things of that nature. And yes, it definitely is a change. It's a change that I support, and just having the opportunity these past couple of weeks to be able to see these policies implemented, the students have complied remarkably well. Teachers have also enforced the policy very well to a high level, and I'm very appreciative of that. Compliance throughout the district has been just stellar. I had an opportunity to speak with a group of students, high school students, and I asked them, tell me about this whole policy change, how it has affected you, what are your thoughts? And at first, coming into the school year, they heard the ramblings, they knew, they really didn't know how everything would go into effect or what their initial thoughts were. But now that they have had this adjustment and they've complied, they said they have enjoyed the fact that they can get to socialize with their friends and actually engage in a conversation without having to look at a screen or, have to worry about what's going on in their pocket on their device. So they have done remarkably well, and I'm very appreciative of that. So I think all in all, in Macon County, they have done a fine job. Very proud of them.
When it comes to bus drivers,
yes.
I know that's also been something that has gotten a lot of attention over the past few weeks as school has started. Sure. And I think it's a struggle nationwide, getting folks to be able to get the kids to school safely in a bus. And obviously that's a struggle here. And I know that if you're watching and you want to be a bus driver, he would love to talk to you.
Absolutely, yes. You call our office.
But just to address kind of some of the struggles that you guys have had and how things maybe are getting better.
Right. So just overall, throughout the county, we do have 52 full-time regular routes. We have other routes that are not included within that number that are fully housed. But within our 52 buses, rather, I said routes, we have 52 buses. We have 104 routes, 104 regular routes. And within that 104, we basically have 5 routes that are not covered. We have 3 morning routes and 2 afternoon routes that consistently are just not covered. And what that really boils down to is the lack of driver. We have offered a lot of the drivers courses and things of that nature, but to be able to have that applicant pool and people who are interested and able to do that, it presents some challenges. In order to be a bus driver, you have to have a special schedule. You have to get up really early, and you also have to be available for like an early dismissal period and have to have that in the back of your mind at any given time. So you have to be flexible. You also have to have the ability to come back and drive that route in the afternoon. And so individuals with a full-time job, that makes it very difficult. They just don't have the ability to be flexible like that. Our starting pay for a bus driver is $16.07 an hour. And it ranges anywhere from an individual who has 20 plus years to $19.46 an hour. So there is a range, and that is a legislative mandated range that we pay our drivers. So at this point, we are trying to recruit as much as we can. We have a few individuals who are still waiting to do the driver's test. So in the next coming weeks, we hope to get them pushed through as quickly as we possibly can and get those routes fully on the road. And, as a parent, I understand that. That would be an absolute burden if that is what I depended on to get my children to and from school. And so I appreciate the parents and the community being just flexible with us, and I know that they have a lot of frustration, and it's understood. And so we are doing everything we can on our end. But yes, if anyone is hearing this and you think you might want to drive, give our office a call, and we will gladly talk with you and point you in the right direction to make certain that can happen.
Well, Josh, it has been a pleasure talking to you, and I'm sure that hopefully in the near future we'll catch up again as obviously the new high school is being built, and I'm sure basketball season, maybe we can catch up again.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Look forward to it.
Stay with us, fans. We've got more to come.
A lifelong resident of Franklin, Jeff Berry has a vision moving the town of Franklin forward, an entrepreneur with investments inside the town limits. He knows the critical infrastructure needs of the town. Jeff Berry would like your support in November. When you cast your ballot on November 4th, vote Jeff Berry for Franklin Town Council.
It's time now for Panther Tracks, a look back at the storied history of Franklin High School athletics.
There's one that I would say constantly sticks out in the state championship game. We were down 13-0, and someone that added to this story was Eddie Sutton, who used to be the sports writer for the Franklin Press. And Irwin kicked off to us to open the second half. And the three deep backs were Keith Brooks, Mike McGinnis, and in the middle was Ricky Mashburn, who was the quarterback. And they kicked the ball to Ricky. Now Eddie and some of his buddies were standing in the back of the end zone when they made that kickoff. And Eddie told me this, like I say, years later. And he said he saw Rick, and the reason they were standing in the end zone is as soon as the game was over, they were leaving to go to Washington, D.C. to watch a Washington Redskins pro game. So they were just kind of hanging out in the back of the end zone. You know, we're down 13-0. They're wondering what's going to happen. But anyway, they kicked off to Ricky Mashburn, and he ran it back for a touchdown. And Eddie said it was the strangest thing he had ever seen. He looked, and as Ricky ran up the middle of the field, he said there was nobody on the other team standing. Everybody was on the ground. He said it didn't even look real to him. But here's the thing, if everybody from the other team was on the ground, somebody got 2 blocks. So that's a kind of a big aha moment, and it got in, you know, obviously it put us back in the game, but having Eddie tell me that I mean, how do you say there's a bigger moment than that? I think the only time I raised my voice to those boys the whole year was at halftime of that game. And I just felt like we were not making contact. And right after we scored the touchdown and we kicked off to them and they got the ball, and they had this Eason guy that had over 200 yards rushing that night. He had already signed a full scholarship to go to Clemson as a running back, and he was quite an athlete. And we made a few adjustments, but the first time he carried the ball, we hit him, and I know 2 of them were Bob Golding and Walter Wright. I know those 2 were in on it. There probably were the others. But I can remember in my mind thinking, when they hit him, it sounded like firecrackers going off. Pow, pow, pow! At the end of the game, we put the reserves in. And we didn't have many. I mean, there was 24 people on the team, so our reserve was the second team. And they threw a long pass and scored with not a lot of time left, but they pulled within a touchdown. Irwin did. And somebody asked me later on, there's a book out about Western North Carolina coaches, and I got interviewed for that. But anyway, the guy that wrote the book asked me, did you feel funny when they scored that touchdown and came within, because we were up by 14 pretty far into the fourth quarter. So they scored, and I said, no. I said, I was determined that every player on that team was going to get in that game somehow, some way. And they weren't known for their passing game, but they threw a Hail Mary and scored, and then did an onside kick, and we recovered, and that was the end. But I said, no, everybody needed to have the experience of being out there. 76, Robbinsville won the 1A state championship, Franklin won the 2A, and Pisgah won the 3A.
And that's been Panther Tracks. Stay tuned to FBSN as we look back at Panther athletics.
At Mountain Credit Union, we know summer plans start at home, and your home's equity can help make them happen. Upgrade, remodel, tackle unexpected expenses, or pay off high-interest debt. Control your finances with a home equity line of credit from Mountain Credit Union. Introductory rates are as low as 5.49 APR for the first 12 months. Call or stop by one of our local Mountain Credit Union branches today for details, or apply online at mountaincu.org.
Kids Place of Macon County is excited to announce the first ever 828 Treasure Quest. The event kicks off at the Macon County Rec Park with a field day competition where teams of 2 will compete in an array of physical and mental challenges that will test both their intellectual and athletic prowess. The top 5 field day contestants, along with a team that raises the most money for Kids Place, will advance on to the treasure hunt for a chance to win the ultimate grand prize of $10,000. Advancing teams will be taken to a specific location in town to compete in an action-packed team-based adventure where participants will race against the clock to complete challenges, solve clues, and travel to checkpoint across a series of exciting locations. It's part scavenger hunt, part obstacle course, and all-out fun. Teams must work to strategize, navigate, and compete for the fastest time in order to make it to their final destination and claim the $10,000 treasure. The only question is, do you have what it takes to win? Info and to register a team, visit 828treasurequest.com or scan the QR code. All the fun happens on Saturday, October 11th.
Well, welcome back, and we are right at 9 o'clock now here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium, and still no update. I know we had a timer ticking down. It was getting close to when we were supposed to get started again, but you can see the meeting is still happening at about the 15-yard line. A bunch of folks have joined. There's some alternate plans being put into place. I'm not going to go into them right now because they're just speculation at this point, but there are some things that are quickly being put together because we're coming up towards a drop-dead time to actually get this game underway. I was told about 9:15, 9:20. This is coming from the field here, that the officials and the game officials here at Western and with both Brevard and Franklin are saying about 9:15, 9:20 is when they need to get this game going to finish it within a reasonable amount of time to get the kids back at a reasonable amount of time on a school night. Mike, are you with us? I don't think Mike has his headphones on. He is down there and listening to what is going on, and that is who had been in touch with us up here. Yeah, he's down there. He's trying to find out what exactly is transpiring and what could possibly happen at some point here. What about 9:02? Yeah, we've been on for a long time. You have seen all the library of the Franklin Panther Sports Network. We don't have much left to play. We do have one more thing. A new athlete? An athlete of the month? Yeah. We at halftime tonight, Amy Mendoza-Lopez was going to be presented her plaque, and it'll be presented at some point in time in the near future. But we put together this feature on Amy Mendoza-Lopez. She is a senior, and she is the September Franklin High School Athlete of the Month.
Hello, my name's Amy Mendoza-Lopez. I'm a senior at Franklin High School, and I've been chosen as September Athlete of the Month. I've been running cross country since my freshman year. I joined cross country because my friend wanted me to join, and I thought, why not, since I did track my 8th grade year, and I was hoping it would improve my times during track. So I just stuck with it, and ever since then, I've just enjoyed it. At the Western Carolina Carnival, I came in first, and it was a really nice feeling because during my junior year, I really struggled with running, and I really struggled to hit a pace or hit a time that I was happy with. So coming in my first 5K of the season and getting first, and by over 30 seconds, it was a really nice feeling. I felt overjoyed and happy. I felt like my training had been working and that like all the things that I've been doing have been helping to get that. My goal personally for this is to make it a state. I've been to state the past 3 years, but I want to finish off 4 years going to state for cross country, and I hope the team gets to travel with us as well this year, because last year only me and my teammate made it, but I hope the entire team makes it because it's more enjoyable like that, because we have more people to run with instead of feeling so like bored and alone like on the bus over there. So I hope as a team we all make it, and as myself, I hope I also make it.
The Athlete of the Month has been presented by First Citizens Bank, helping families and businesses make more of their finances for over 125 years. First Citizens Bank, forever first, member FDIC. And by Corbin Dental, a locally owned dental practice providing comprehensive and advanced dental care in Franklin. They take pride in providing world-class care right here at home.
At Mountain Credit Union, we know summer plans start at home, and your home's equity can help make them happen. Upgrade, remodel, tackle unexpected expenses, or pay off high-interest debt. Control your finances with a home equity line of credit from Mountain Credit Union. Introductory rates are as low as 5.49 APR for the first 12 months. Call or stop by one of our local Mountain Credit Union branches today for details, or apply online at mountaincu.org.
Welcome back to E.J. Whitmire Stadium. Guess what? We're going to play tonight. 9:35 is officially when we're going to kick things off. So in just about 30 minutes, we're going to kick it off here. And they're going to play straight. There's not going to be a halftime of much length. They're going to play 12-minute quarters. Mike Wood has been down on the sidelines. He has been in the huddle areas on our screen. And, Mike, it was a lot of negotiation.
Yeah, that was kind of fun, you know, it was a great hour or whatever. We saw the Franklin cheerleaders and the Brevard cheerleaders have a dance-off back under the scoreboard. Good unity, good camaraderie. And then we sat in a circle with the referees. We had Western Carolina's official there offering the stadium on Sunday. Obviously, you can't play here tomorrow night with them getting ready for Saturday. But so they've decided all teams 9:35, 12-minute quarters, 10-minute half, and game on here in just a little bit.
Well, I tell you what, I did not think that we would be at this point about 15, 20 minutes ago. There was talk of moving the game to other locations and playing tomorrow night, but they were able to work everything out. I'm assuming that there haven't been any more lightning strikes. And looking at the radar, I don't. It's south of us here, Byron. It still looks pretty substantial, but I'm assuming that there's not been any more electrical action in the storm. It looks like it's right on the Jackson and Macon County line now, out in LJ. But I guess there haven't been any more, cross your fingers, any more lightning strikes. So we're going to play at 9:35.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Byron.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
They all the coaches did agree. One more strike and we're out of here.
Yeah. Well, at some point in time on a school night, your anticipated end time can't be but so late, I think.
Yeah.
Right? That used to be the rule.
Yeah. I know it is in Little League.
Yeah.
I don't know about high school level.
Well, and I tell you, even the air feels a little bit cooler. You can feel a system has moved around us, Mike. I'm sure on the field you can tell that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it got a little thunderous roar from the folks who had remained in their seats. I can tell you, out of all the possible scenarios that were being thrown out there for tomorrow night and Monday night, what just a logistical nightmare for everybody, right? I mean, if it's Monday, it creates a very short week of preparation for your next Friday opponent.
I don't think anybody wants to play on a Sunday.
Nobody wants to play on a Sunday, and George and the crew do not want to carry this equipment to another high school.
Yeah.
No, that was talked about. I was rallying the troops.
Another local high school, if I heard them correct, I'm old, don't hear too good, but another local high school offered their stadium to them tomorrow night because they're on the road.
Right.
Then the two head coaches, kind of went over logistics of that and which is the home locker room, where do we park, and too much going on. So both coaches, and they're both intense coaches, Coach Josh and the other coach, I don't know his name, but it was good chatting out there. But let's get it on here in a couple minutes.
And Luke Coleman, head coach for Brevard, and they were definitely talking a lot. We saw a lot of demonstrative action down on the field. So we are going to have a kickoff about 9:35, and you're looking at a 2-hour lightning delay, or over a 2-hour lightning delay.
2 hour, 5 minute,
here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium. If you're wondering about the rain, it did rain briefly, just kind of a dust settler. It did not rain much to really wet the field. It just scattered the crowd, and so I don't think that's going to be an issue. There was not a lot of water that came onto the field. And this turf drains pretty well here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium, and they're going to get new turf next year. With the renovations, they're going to get new lighting. They're going to get new press box. You see across the way in between the light towers some steel beams going up, and that is the new press box that is being built here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium. As fans have stuck around. You see a lot of Brevard fans, obviously a little bit farther drive than Franklin. I think a lot of the red is underneath in the mezzanine level below us, or maybe they've decided, hey, it's a Thursday night. I'm going to the house.
Well, you've got the covered seats. There are quite a few people there, and you're right. I'm sure some folks who going home didn't think this was going to happen. I don't think we thought it was going to happen.
It's bizarre. I was joking with Daniel Hooker with Western Carolina, the hardest working guy in the sports department here at Western Carolina. He had the radar up, and literally it was the only shower within 100 miles. It was right over Cullowhee and Jackson County. There was a little shower in Asheville. There was a little shower in Asheville, and it may have had some lightning. But literally the closest rain that I could see was in Macon, Georgia.
Wow.
And you go north, nothing. You go east, nothing. West, nothing. A little south and Macon, Georgia, a little shower. So that's how bizarre it was that all of a sudden we had a lightning delay here.
It was the last thing that
really
we thought of.
It really was.
We were discussing, as you look across the way there in your picture, where the new press box is going to be located. For years, these guys, Gary Ayers and these guys, have battled that
sun.
western setting sun, and it just comes in harshly here, the press box at E.J. Whitmire Stadium. So they're putting it across the way, and the turf's going to be turned. The WCU logo that you see there in the middle is going to be turned toward that those set of bleachers, and I'm sure those will be premium seats with the press box over there. But I can tell you, we battled the sun from the moment I got here. And, of course, I got here after you guys did. But when you walk in here to the press box at E.J. Whitmire, it's a little toasty, right? And
no air conditioning up here.
No air conditioning. And the sun, nice a minute. This is a great press box. It's just warm. And when that sun's blaring in, it makes it really toasty. There's a collective clap when that sun goes back over the mountain over there, because it quickly cools down in here and becomes nice. But George, you got people checking in with you online. I know I've got a text. Billy Hanley was really concerned if I had brought snacks.
I was concerned too, because
like Billy, like you got room to talk.
Well, I mean, we all need to eat.
Yeah,
and I'll admit, I get a little hangry.
That's it.
We did have some refreshments from the concession stand.
Yes, we did.
By the way, Smoky Mountain's JV team was playing up the road here, and they were in a lightning delay as well. This was about 48 minutes ago. They went into a lightning delay with about 8:31 left in the game. They're playing East Henderson, and they were up over East. So affecting Smoky Mountain as well, just right up the road. They were in a lightning delay as well. So it's just been a bizarro night. That is a beautiful shot there from Joshua Chastain, one of our camera folks who have been braving the elements here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium. All right, we'll see. We still got 21 minutes before we're going to kick this one off. So there's a lot of time. I'm assuming in about 5 or 10 minutes they're going to bring the kids out of the locker room and they're going to warm up, because they've been in the locker room for over 2 hours now. They need to warm up, stretch those legs. Mike Wood did tell me, you didn't hear this, you were over talking in the other booth, but there was a dance-off that took place between the cheerleaders from Brevard and Franklin. I believe even the bands got involved with a dance-off. That was pretty cool down here. In the
Mike did not involve himself in that.
I don't know. Did Mike cut a rug? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not. But it was kind of cool, you know, 2 different teams. They're all young, 16, 17-year-old. They were having a blast.
Hey, you got to pass the 2 hours some way. So kudos to them, making it fun in here. I was over there with Mark Sutton, who is not only got the PA duties, he's got the music duty. So
he was doing a good job.
We were taking turns. Going through a set of songs in there and then just trying to keep people entertained.
Yeah. The classic, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? That was a couple times.
Yeah.
You've got to play that during the rain delay.
Yeah.
Keith Urban, Raining on Sunday. That's another good one.
Right. And even not the rain theme ones. It's not often that you're going to see me browse through a library of music and say, yeah, Wham, let's listen to that. But in a 2-hour rain delay, it's possible.
Yeah, you have to keep yourself entertained somehow. And we have tried to keep you entertained here on the Franklin Panther Sports Network. We were talking here with all of our fine crew here, Phillip and Spencer and Joshua and Mally and you, Byron. We have been doing this. I personally have been doing this my 20th year of play-by-play on different platforms. I've never been involved with a rain delay or a lightning delay, and I guess we're just been lucky because there have been lightning delays. I know that Franklin was involved with one, was it 2 years ago at Cherokee? It was about a 2-hour lightning delay, maybe an hour and a half, 2-hour lightning delay. But here in the mountains, by this time of the year, you don't see a lot of lightning usually. Now, south of us, down into the upstate of South Carolina, North Georgia, in the beginning of the year, you do see a lot of delays. I know the first week of the season for Georgia, they had just tons of lightning delays. But we've been lucky. And I was also talking about this rule about lightning within 8 to 10 miles. It hasn't really been that long ago that it came into effect. It was probably 10, maybe 12 years ago when they started enacting these rules.
Before that, it was visual. Did the white hat on the field see lightning?
That's right.
Right, but with the technology we all have in our hands now, with the Doppler radar, with the radar and all that kind of stuff, we can easily see it coming. Have Billy Van Hook checking in here with a message saying this has to be a first on many levels. And I don't, like you, I've been doing this for many years. Yeah. I don't recall ever postponing the start of one like this. I was actually involved as a player in one where we played Robbinsville my junior year.
Come the Panthers.
Franklin Panthers return to the field. That is, I feel like these fans want to cheer their teams back on, but I feel like this is a little bit extra. They've sat and waited for this for 2 hours. But to get back to what I was saying, we had a lightning stoppage of play against Robbinsville that night. I guess that was in 94. Probably 1994. But this is I don't remember sitting around twiddling our thumbs for 2 hours waiting for one to kick off, ever.
Yeah, I don't either. It's been an interesting night, and it's good to see both teams. Brevard has come out onto the field as well on the other side, and they're going to start warming up. And we are slated to kick this one off. They have told me 9:35. They have 6 minutes up on the clock. I don't know if that is the warm-up time, the clock here in the stadium. We've got a clock on our screen that says 16 and a half minutes. That'll take us right up until about 9:35. So they may get this one underway a little earlier, and that's okay with me. I'll see if I can find something out. All right, we're going to take a break here, and we'll hear from our sponsors, who, by the way, if you ever wanted to be a sponsor on FPSN, tonight was the night because you have gotten a lot of playtime of your ad. All right, we'll take a break here. We'll come back, and hopefully we'll get this one underway a little earlier than 9:35.
At Mountain Credit Union, we know summer plans start at home, and your home's equity can help make them happen. Upgrade, remodel, tackle unexpected expenses, or pay off high-interest debt. Control your finances with a home equity line of credit from Mountain Credit Union. Introductory rates are as low as 5.49 APR for the first 12 months. Call or stop by one of our local Mountain Credit Union branches today for details, or apply online at mountaincu.org.
A lifelong resident of Franklin, Jeff Berry has a vision moving the town of Franklin forward, an entrepreneur with investments inside the town limits. He knows the critical infrastructure needs of the town. Jeff Berry would like your support in November. When you cast your ballot on November 4th, vote Jeff Berry for Franklin Town Council.
Join FPSN each month during the school year as we spotlight outstanding performances from student athletes with the First Citizens Bank and Corbin Dental Athlete of the Month video feature. It's presented by Corbin Dental, a locally owned dental practice providing comprehensive and advanced dental care in Franklin. With deep local roots and a passion for service, Corbin Dental takes pride in providing world-class care right here at home. And by First Citizens Bank, helping families and businesses make more of their finances for over 125 years. First Citizens Bank, forever first. Member FDIC.
Welcome back. Both teams are warming up. 9:35 still the slated kickoff time here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium. Of course, these two teams have been in the locker room for over 2 hours, so yeah, there's a lot of pent-up energy, and got to get those juices flowing once again. See the quarterbacks warming up, and we'll give some more information about these two teams. As we had really had a lot of good stuff in the pregame show that we had delivered and told everybody about, and got this game really hyped up. But we'll recap that here in a moment, as that was over 2 hours ago. A lot of folks still hanging with us, though, Byron. I appreciate everybody watching.
Yeah. So just recently there, heard from quite a few people checking in with us. Scott Maslin is out in Colorado. He's watching tonight. Said that he's pretty much tired of me saying the same stuff over and over. He wishes they would just kick it off. So,
well, you ain't the only one there, Scott.
Yeah.
We said too much.
And I might do this again. You know how kids are. They want to hear their name over the airwaves, but I wanted to give a big shout out to my son, Max McClure, and the Roan State men's golf team watching tonight. A bit of a house party. Max, please be careful. I have the deposit on that apartment. I hear it's crowded in there. And
watch party.
Yeah, I'm worried about the likes of Tripp and Reggie and Lennon and Anderson and Colin, all those kids, what they could do to that apartment. So, big shout out to the they have a tournament. They actually travel Saturday to Huntsville, Alabama for a golf tournament. So good luck. Best wishes, Roan State Raiders. Thanks for checking in with us tonight, guys.
And hopefully, they'll, of course, they're college students. They'll go about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning anyway. It's going to be a late night here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium. They are going to play full 12-minute quarters. They'll have a 10-minute halftime. So it's going to be a regulation-length ball game whenever we do get this one underway. These two teams come in Franklin at 3-1, lost the first game of the season against Murphy and have rattled off 3 straight. Brevard has begun the year 3 consecutive wins, all in the non-conference slate. A.C. Reynolds, North Buncombe last week, and came from behind in the second half and defeated Irwin. Franklin on a 3-game winning streak after defeating Robbinsville, Swain, and then last week against East Henderson, dropping the opening game against Murphy. And, hearing the comments from Josh Brooks about that opening loss to Murphy, he kind of chalked it up to a very young team. We have to remember there's some experience across the lines of scrimmage and then at quarterback, but this still is a very young team.
Yeah, well, let's say this. When you open the stat sheet for Franklin, the name you're going to see a lot is Garrett Young. Leads the team with 10 or 11 tackles a game, leads the team in 122 yards rushing per game. George, if I'm not mistaken, he's 15 years old. So, yeah, let's talk about Young. Literally, let's talk about Young. But yeah, and that night, you do wish you could have closed the deal, but again, that's a non-conference game and one that I'm sure that there were a lot of lessons to learn from that game. It's not that Murphy was bad. We had outplayed them, as you well know, for 3 quarters. We here in the press box, we felt something, right? We felt like the tides were turning, and sure enough, 22 straight points by Murphy put us in a bad spot for the night. But perhaps got them turned around and moving in the right direction for the rest of the season. Really good wins at Swain and Robbinsville, both going away. Of course, East Henderson we knew was going to be challenged in terms of what they brought to us last week. And after a 3 or 4 minute, little bit of a sluggish start, it was hammered down, right, last week. So took care of business, and here we are 3-1, getting into really what on paper and from what we've seen is going to be the toughest contest that we have for quite some time. This team, this Brevard team rolling in here is quite a football team. You see them there. They look the part. They've got weapons in different – and here's the thing. We've got 2 kids that have played quarterback for them so far this year. They've got an outstanding running back. They've got a wide receiver that every highlight I watch, he's making catches like Randy Moss out there. And if you don't know who Randy Moss is, I'm not going to stop and explain. Ask somebody else. But really good football players. And they're pretty good defensively. Look back there. Look at those guys standing back there, some big kids. So going to be a test tonight for sure. And I've got a whole list of we in the pregame we talked about how all time Brevard is up on this series 23-12. Daniel Hooker for the win. Thank you very much.
More refreshments. We're going to need it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But 12. That was 23-12 all time. Brevard has the series advantage, but that's due to 11 straight wins by Brevard during a period there of time. They got that a little lopsided. I failed to mention, and I will now, Coach Josh Brooks, George, he's 8-4 against Brevard all time. Was 8-3 going into that 2021 game, and of course fell to 8-4 on that last-minute loss to them, 31-29. But Josh Brooks would love to get that 9th win against Brevard tonight. It's going to be a test.
Yeah, he's lost 3 straight. Last win came in 2017. That great season the Panthers had the last time they hosted a playoff game at home. It was in 2017. And Brevard has really had a couple of fantastic seasons. I know, and you've talked about it before, back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, into the 80s, with all the mills in Transylvania County, you had a lot of very good talent come out of Brevard. They won a lot of ball games, but then fell into some hard times. And in the past couple of years, double-digit wins, regional final last year against Monroe. And a lot of, we mentioned this 2 hours ago, but a lot of those guys on those 2 teams got a lot of experience, got a lot of wins under their back, and that goes a long way, learning how to win.
It does. And when in the pregame, we talked about the fact that they're old and very skilled and athletic in these skill positions. Let me give this to you here. You know, I always said about Franklin football, you know, you have casual fans that would come to you because they associate, George, you and I, with the game and with the program, and they'll make a comment, well, I wish we passed more, right? And I would, you know, or why don't we pass more? And my answer was always, because we don't have to, right? You bring in an element of risk into to passing the football when you can control the game running it. You know what's scary about this team that we're playing tonight? I'm sitting here looking. They're averaging 222 rush yards per game. 222 rushing yards per game. A lot of that is due to two guys, Braylon Thompson and Skinner, who we'll be looking at tonight. But they average 158 passing yards a game. But, George, they're only throwing it between the two quarterbacks. They have attempted 38 passes in 3 games. So it's not like they're going to the air, but when they do, man, they're good with it. They're really good with it. And that's scary. I mean, because I'm sitting here looking right now, you know, on average, Kessinger, when he's played quarterback, he's averaged 15 yards a play. And then Conley, Christian Conley, he's thrown 18 times, completed 10. He has 25-yard per average playmaking. I mean, that's so the big play capability is there for Brevard. You watch them on film, they'll go to the air early and they'll go deep. They'll go real deep. So this is going to be a test tonight. Perhaps you say, well, that our defense is going to be tested. Of course they are. I'm going to flip that around and say the Panther offense tonight, George, has to come out and control the line of scrimmage. We have to run the football. We have to shorten this game if we're going to be where we need to be in the fourth quarter.
And that is really the blueprint that we have seen throughout the years for Josh Brooks. And I mean, that's not something that is abnormal coming into a contest, especially when you get into the playoffs. You saw that as a theme for a lot of games that Franklin has won against teams that maybe have a little edge in the talent. But if you can shorten the game and take possessions away, and I'm sure that's exactly what's going to be executed tonight.
And I'll say it like this: when we might have been on the bottom side, and like you said, we might be edged out on talent. We had the luxury of out-coaching a lot of people. Josh Brooks' staff, going back to Goldsmith's staff, we out-coached a lot of people. I watched it for years, and I'm old enough and veteran enough I can say that. We out-coached a lot of people. And what that means is creating a blueprint, as you said, a game plan for victory, knowing what your role was and knowing how to win a football game.
Well, looks like both teams are coming over to their respective sidelines. Brevard about to come out onto the field, so it looks like after a 2-hour and almost 15-minute lightning delay. We got a lightning delay. It was about 7:25, 23 maybe, is when we got initial word to hear the crowd and the Brevard Blue Devils coming onto the field now. We're going to get to action here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium. Brevard band is here.
George, I'm gonna say it one more time. Thanks everybody for tuning in and sticking with us for the last couple of hours. Big shout out to my boy Max McClure and the Roan State Raider men's golf team having a watch party in Oak Ridge, Tennessee tonight. Glad you guys are tuning in. Hope you're behaving. And Max, I hope you were kidding when you said there's 20 people at my apartment.
All right. After over 2 hours, 15-minute rain delay / lightning delay, we're going to get this one underway. And I'm assuming they had a toss of the coin at some point. We did not see that, but they had plenty of time to get that done. And the Brevard Blue Devils will kick it away to the Panthers.
George, want to mention, myself, Mike, we didn't get a chance to discuss on air last week. Dan Hunter just chimed in. Thank you for reminding us. Win 150 for Josh Brooks last week here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium.
Sam McAbee has teed it up for the Blue Devils. Waiting for the official. He approaches the football, and we are underway at 9:35 in Cullowhee. It'll be gathered in at about the 5-yard line. Up across the 25, 30 to about the 32. That'll be Gabe Harrison on the return. Panthers will take over first down and 10.
Interested, Mike, what you could tell us about the locker room atmosphere and thoughts about going into the first set of downs here.
We'll check in with Mike. I don't think he's got his headset on.
I got you.
Oh, there we go. Here's Mike.
Yeah, I was trying to keep it off. A bunch of people were coming up and talking to me, so I didn't want to interrupt you guys on the dead time.
Anderson Terrell under center. He's going to pitch it to Garrett Young. Garrett going to be hit at the line of scrimmage. Going to be able to get out of the initial hit and scamper up to about the 36. We'll see if he went out of bounds. It looks like they're going to mark you back at the 34.
Second down and 7.
Going to bring up second down and 7. He'll say he did step out of bounds. Anderson Terrell under center. Now he's going to look to the sideline. The wind really has picked up here after that storm to the east of us. And quick handoff right up the middle. It's Sutton to the 40, 41-yard line. He's going to be close to the sticks. I think he's going to be a yard shy.
He is at the 41-yard line.
Going to get him the first down.
They will move the sticks. Mark it right at the 41 as you see the replay there. Panthers taking their time, as we mentioned. In the pregame, that's probably going to be the strategy. Train as much of that play clock. It's down to 6. Anderson Terrell in a dog pile. I don't think he got much. And they'll bring up second down for the Panthers as we approach 11 minutes left here, opening quarter.
So important to avoid the negative plays in this game and play in front of the sticks. And that first set of downs, exactly what Panther football drew up. Brings up a 2nd and 10 here.
Shotgun for Anderson Terrell. Hands to Garrett Young. Garrett is not going to be able to get to the corner, and he tries to cut it up at the 41 to the 42. Gain of a yard at the most. It'll bring up a 3rd and long now. 3rd down and 9 for the Panthers. So we approach 10 minutes. Again, if you just joined us, lightning delay. So we're just in the first quarter. And they're going to play a full 12-minute quarters and a 10-minute halftime. $15 on the play clock. On 3rd and long, Terrell fires over the head of his intended receiver at about the 50-yard line, trying to hit Damian Bowles.
Every yard is important here. Special teams is going to prove to be a big part of this game. So everything from your snap, your blocking up the front, and the kick itself important to keep this Brevard offense in check. You don't want to give them more field than you have to.
Anderson Terrell to kick it away. It's a nice kick at about the 19. Got to be gathered in there. Up to the 25, it's Baptist, sophomore. He's going to be up to the, we'll stop it right at the 25. That's where the Blue Devils will take over 1st and 10 on their first offensive possession of the night. 9:32 left in the opening quarter.
Mike, you got to some of those skull sessions this week with the Panthers. What did you hear?
A whole bunch of stuff, Byron. You know, Coach asked for a great effort this week. I think the kids gave it, studied film, worked hard. Got to keep an eye on number 4. Matt Bradley says he's going to kind of tag 2 people watching him tonight. And then obviously the quarterback, Conley, number 2, pretty solid athlete.
Oh, it's Conley going to heave it on first down, underthrew his intended receiver. And it was intended for win at about the 42, and it's going to fall incomplete.
That falls in line, guys. I've watched 2 games where they go for the home run right off the bat. Luckily, we escaped it here. This exact play, getting it to number 4, and we're going to call his name quite a bit tonight. Win. He's their home run hitter.
He's going to bring up 2nd and 10. It'll be Conley again out of the gun this time. Looks to fire as a receiver, 32. Up to the 35, still fighting for about the 39-yard line. Aiden Cantrell. That'll be enough to move the chains for the Blue Devils.
And that's a first down, but that is a bend, don't break play there by the Panther secondary, keeping the Brevard player in front of them. It's going to be hard to get pressure on this quarterback. He is very mobile.
Christian Conley, the senior, stands 6'2", 170 pounds. First running play of the night for the Blue Devils for a couple of yards right up the middle. Goes Braylon Thompson. He's also a senior. Like Sutton in there on the tackle. 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 7 for the Blue Devils. Glad that you are with us on YouTube and Facebook of the Franklin Panthers Sports Network. George Young alongside Byron McClure. Mike Wood on the sideline. 2nd and 7 for the Blue Devils. They'll run again. Left side goes Thompson. He's going to turn the corner, cut it up, pick up a first down at the 50. And that'll stop the clock briefly to move the chains. They do have a flag, though, it appears.
Braylon Thompson, the senior, just scooting left. Just finding, waiting, watch him scoot. He gets right around the corner. That'll help.
So it'll be a holding call. That'll back him up from the spot.
Lance Parker, the first Panther there to meet him, but this holding call is going to be a big helper. It will back him up behind the chains. But as I pointed out earlier, and they showed us on the very first play of the game, they will go deep. They will play downfield.
2nd and 13 now. Conley under center. Gonna run it. And nothing doing this time for Braylon Thompson. As the Panthers able to snuff that out.
Nice play there by Hall for the Panthers. Big Davion Hall busting through on that left side, and you see him there just get that big paw right in the chest.
Yeah, Coach said about Davion, man, very physically gifted. He's not a beast in the weight room, but on the football field, he is really strong.
A pretty good athlete, Mike. Believe it or not, he is a very smooth basketball player around the rim.
So it's 3rd down for the Panthers. Conley shotgun. Drops. Looks to fire. Heaves, and over the head of his intended receiver. As he was trying to hit Gordon Young, and it's going to bring out 4th down.
I got to tell you guys, that's a big stop right here at the beginning of the game, Mike Wood.
Huge stop, definitely. D's playing solid. Punter on film's averaging about 35 to 37-yard punts. So we should have some good field position for our second possession.
So it's going to be Aiden Cantrell to punt it away. Back at about the 32 is Harrison. Harrison waits.
Oh, we're going to have good field position.
And that was a shank. We missed the punt on TV there, but yeah, it was a shank, and it's going to be at about the 50-yard line.
Well,
what happened here? Let's see.
We don't usually expect for it to go perpendicular. He just
almost got blocked.
Yeah. Yeah, happens a lot, and he was under duress. Yeah, so
the Panthers get it out on the other side of the 50. They're going to mark it out of bounds at the 46 in plus territory. The Brevard 46-yard line. It is Terrell under center on first down. Sends a man in motion, and we've got whistles on the snap. Maybe some motion as they blew it dead.
George, you hit it on the head when I heard you chatting a minute ago about pregame speech with Coach Josh. He wants first downs. If we can get a first down, play 3 plays, we're going to burn 2 minutes. He wants to slow the game down, lose that play clock. They're pretty explosive. We want to grind it out and make first downs tonight.
Recipe we've played before, Mike Wood, and one that has made us very successful, and again, one that's been employed a lot in those 150 wins for Josh Brooks.
Yeah.
It'll be first and 15 now. They'll back it over to the 49 as the hand goes on the end around near side to Xavion Inslee, and Inslee able to get into Brevard territory. They're going to mark it down to the 45.
Xavion comes across here, takes the handoff from Anderson Terrell, finds a little seam.
Carter McAfee rode his back there for the tackle for the Blue Devils. 2nd and 9. It's a gain of 6 for Xavion Inslee. At the 45 of the Blue Devils. Shotgun now and I got some movement on that left side of the line.
Watch the replay here. Just can't do it, guys. Just cannot play behind the sticks against a team like this. I want to shift the focus real quick. What a band.
I got to go ahead.
If you are from Brevard, North Carolina, be very proud of your high school band, Brevard.
Panther band was here, but I think they went to the showers.
Whew. Right off the hands of Inslee that time, Mike.
Screenplay has not worked much this season. It didn't work that time.
We worked on it hard this week. Brevard's defensive line, those big guys, they're coming upfield really hard. So we worked on that in practice. And then number 33 out there, that Jax Whitmire, one of the best defenders on defense. So we've kind of watched him all week also.
They'll stop the clock, 6:33 left. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 14 after the incomplete pass, right at the 50-yard line. Anderson Terrell under center. As a man comes in motion on a boot. Terrell going to sling it out, incomplete. Trying to hit Attic Sutton. Sutton had a little bit of space, but had some defenders tracking him. So they're going to bring up 4th and 14, and Terrell will stay out and punt things away for the Blue Devils.
And if you're watching from home, you saw Brock Bradley deep back there, but Mike, Anderson Terrell taught like many Franklin quarterbacks. He's reading short to long right there.
Yeah,
going to his first option.
Yeah, you got to go. That's the way Coach teaches it. And I had a chance to talk to Anderson yesterday. I'll step into that in a minute.
Terrell gets it out of there.
Good kick.
And it's going to be gathered in at about the 21-yard line by Thompson Wynn. Wynn still moving, and he is going to be finally dropped at about the 28-yard line. That's where the Blue Devils will take over, 1st down and 10. And Thompson Wynn there, good receiver. He has gotten a bunch of passes and a lot of yards this season, and you see why. He's got some speed there. But Panthers able to track him down and snow him under after a marginal gain on the kick return. At the 29 of their very own, it's the Blue Devils that'll set up shop for their 2nd offensive possession to ball game with 6:19 to go here in the first quarter. Again, it is Christian Conley that'll set up in the gun. He sends Thompson Wynn out wide, hands off. That's Braylon Thompson. He's ahead for a couple of yards. It'll bring up 2nd down about 7 for the Blue Devils.
Braylon only played in 2 games this year, carried it 26 times for 185 yards. That's a 7-yard average per carry. Averaging 92.5 yards a game in only 2 games.
You're scoreless here as we approach 5.5 left. Conley shotgun as Wynn goes in motion once again on 2nd and 7. A long mesh point there. He's eventually going to hand it off. Flag comes out. Thompson is hemmed in and dropped at about the 35. We'll check the marker.
There's a flag on the play.
Watching the replay up here in the booth.
Holding on the offense.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hold against the Panthers.
Against the Devils.
Or against Devils, rather, and it's going to back them up. One thing that the thunder shower did is really cool it off here. I'd say it's in the upper 60s. It's a nice breeze blowing finally. It was warm up here earlier, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
We were sweating up here.
You mean back when we thought like the lightning delay would be the last thing in the world we would have tonight?
Seems like, a long time ago now? Pass going to be caught at about the 32. And he is hemmed in and dropped at about the 33. They'll mark it back at the 32. That is Aiden Cantrell.
Be the key tonight, Mike Wood. Keep those guys in front of us and not behind us.
Coach Nathan Raby talked about that all week, guys. They're going to complete some passes. They're an athletic team. We got to keep it in front of them, get them on the ground, and bring the red shirts to it. And it looked like it was pretty well right then. Hey, number 11, Gabe Harrison, he's a cousin of one of my favorite players on the Panthers, Tyler Harrison. Years ago.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Brings up 3rd and 8. Conley under center. He's going to fake the handoff, drop, fire, Wynn, caught, first down, out of bounds, 40-yard line. Thompson Wynn leaked out of the backfield, and that'll move the chains.
And a great job by Lance Parker to getting over there to him to knock him out, but not before he gets past the first down marker you see here. And you can just tell if you're watching at home, the first couple steps number 4 makes, he's got that playmaking capability. Great job, Lance Parker, cutting him off. Mike Wood, you're talking about Tyler Harrison, undoubtedly one of my favorite Panthers of all time. What heart that kid had.
Tough as nails. He went on to play for Brevard College.
Yeah, he did.
I believe he played corner for them.
Conley grabs the shotgun snap on first down. Going to swing it out. He's got a receiver. Across the 45, 48-yard line.
That was perfect by the corner. They didn't catch the number. Big Gabe, they want him pushing it back inside. They don't want him running down these hash marks on the sideline.
Absolutely.
Well done there.
Akai Agapon caught that and able to scamper up. Close to the sticks. Is that how you say that kid's name?
No, it's good. No, I'm just going to tell you, that's the passing lane. That's the speed lane out there past the hash marks.
So a gain of 9, 2nd and a yard now for the Blue Devils right at midfield. Conley, hands right up the middle for the first down. It's Braylon Thompson, and he'll get into Panther territory. That will stop the clock briefly. They'll move the sticks.
I got to imagine, too, Mike Wood, this week the words gap integrity were probably mentioned a few times.
Absolutely. I've heard gap integrity all week. Don't chase the quarterback. Do your job. Stay in your zone. All kinds of things. I think the kids are really good there. Hey, that was a nice tackle by Addix there.
First down. Pass complete, Wynn.
Get him on the ground.
Able to get out of a tackle. And look out. He's got speed. Breaking defenders. And it's a touchdown for Tristan Thompson-Wynn.
Yeah, he did that on his own there. Nice little 15-yard pass, and then the rest was on his own.
Broke how many tackles here? There's 1 tackle, 2, 3, all the way in for 6.
Yeah, it just puts emphasis again on the first contact. You got to be fundamental. If you need help, you got to hang on to them and wait for help. But just getting an arm on those guys, and then if they get gone quick.
The kick is up, and the kick is good. So the Blue Devils strike first with 3:05 to go in the first quarter. It's 7-0 Blue Devils as we head to break.
At Mountain Credit Union, we know summer plans start at home, and your home's equity can help make them happen. Upgrade, remodel, tackle unexpected expenses, or pay off high-interest debt. Control your finances with a home equity line of credit from Mountain Credit Union. Introductory rates are as low as 5.49 APR for the first 12 months. Call or stop by one of our local Mountain Credit Union branches today for details, or apply online at mountaincu.org.
A lifelong resident of Franklin, Jeff Berry has a vision moving the town of Franklin forward, an entrepreneur with investments inside the town limits. He knows the critical infrastructure needs of the town. Jeff Berry would like your support in November. When you cast your ballot on November 4th, vote Jeff Berry for Franklin Town Council.
Welcome back. 3:05 to go, first quarter. Brevard strikes first as Tristan Thompson-Wynn takes the pass from Conley and scampers into the end zone. Brevard kicking it away to the Panthers. At about the 8-yard line, it's Harrison. Harrison up to the 30-yard line before he is hemmed in and dropped. And the Panthers will take over right there at the 30. First down and 10. Glad that you're with us, George Young, along with Byron McClure, Mike Wood on the sidelines, our fantastic FPSN crew, and working overtime tonight after the 2-hour rain delay / lightning delay. Have a little bit of rain, but it was mainly the lightning that caused the delay, because after a strike, you have to wait at least 30 minutes before you can get to action. On first down, flags, as Garrett Young goes right up the middle. We will check the marker, though, as it's going to be offsides on the defense. So Brevard jumped into the neutral zone. Maybe we'll see it here on the replay.
Well, go back and watch right here.
It must have been some of that shifting that happened. You couldn't see it on that angle.
Well, 64 ran right past the play. I wish we just would have kept playing right there, because Addicts had some room.
Right, yeah, it was setting up to be a pretty good play. You're right. First down now, 15 for Anderson, Terrell and company. Damian Bowles goes in motion. He's going to hand to Garrett Young right up the middle. He's going to fight across the 40 to the 41. Garrett Young able to gain enough for a first down. I said first at 15. I meant first at 5. That's a 6-yard gain for Garrett Young.
Mike, a lot of shifting pre-snap by the Brevard defensive line. Is that something that we saw, or are we just sort of taking it in right now and making adjustments?
Yeah, I did not see a bunch of that on film, Byron.
First down for the Panthers. Hand goes Sutton right up the middle. He is hit at the line of scrimmage, and he is able to fall forward to the 45. That'll be about a 5-yard gain for Sutton. A great shot there of being met right up the middle. Gain of 3, they'll officially say. 2nd and 7 as we approach 2 minutes left here, first quarter.
Red jerseys, white pants, white helmets tonight. Looking good.
2nd and 7. Bowles goes in motion as a hand goes to Garrett Young. Garrett Young right up the middle. He's going to fight forward to about the 50. Got to mark him a yard shy of the first down.
Good kickout block there by number 55, junior Mac Sinclair. Kicked out the end on that play for a good gain.
And the kid that came up and made contact with Garrett Young, Garrett took him for another 3 or 4 yard ride there. I happen to remember a game against Brevard, Mike. I don't know if you remember it, but Garrett's uncle Jeremiah, playing Brevard one time, hit a kid. And I'm telling you, I was worried about the young man. After I think the referee even made comment about him when he came to the sideline.
3rd and a yard. They'll pack it in. Quarterback there was a fumble.
Dang, we did that last week too, didn't we? Or the week before, I can't remember.
I don't see anybody signaling. Yeah.
Because he never had it. It hit.
No, you're right.
It hit the ground.
And we're seeing the replay right now.
Yeah.
Was it going to put us half a yard short?
Yeah, they're going to say it's short.
About a football short. Woo, woo, woo. What do you do here?
I think you run the same play, Byron. I'll run down there and talk to Josh.
I'm sure he'll be all ears.
Oh.
Big first down. We got to stop it right here. We got to get this one.
Boy, they're packed in there tight. It's just mano a mano right here, Mike.
Yep.
Get low and go hard.
5 on the play clock.
No play. No play.
My opinion, watching film all week, number 33 for Brevard, Jax Whitmire, best player on defense, in my opinion, for Brevard.
So a timeout called by Coach Josh Brooks and the Panthers. There's the Brevard band having a good old time.
Yeah. Kudos.
I mean, they sound
young
awesome.
women and young men. That what a great group. I mean,
they're having a ball too.
That's why I love high school and college football. A good band just makes it great.
Fantastic. Portions of tonight's action on FPSN brought to you by Longview Baptist off Jones Ridge Road in Franklin. Come and grow with them at Longview. Reformed theology, expository preaching, and a loving community. Info at longviewbc.org. Also, Young Contracting Services handles grading, excavating, land clearing, boulder retaining walls, and he's your drainage specialist. Call Parrish at 828-421-9528 for Young Contracting Services. We'll tell you more about our fine sponsors as we go along here. It's going to be 4th down. Panthers remain on offense. 4th down and inches. On a boot. 1st down.
Nice play. Nice play. I was a little fooled there. I was watching, like everybody else, I was watching for Garrett Young. Anderson, nice little decoy there, tucks it around on the right side and finds some room to slip up for about a, 5, 6, 7 yard gain?
Yeah,
who cares? It's a 1st down.
Yeah. Looks like he came around that corner and looked and said, oh, my, nobody's here.
Yeah.
So kind of a little bit shocked.
It may have been a pass play, honestly. Decided to run it. That was the right call. This most likely is going to be the final play of this first quarter. We are 10 seconds on the play clock, and there goes zeros up on the game clock. First quarter in the books. Brevard up 7-0. The Panthers, though, are driving in Brevard territory as we head to break. Stay with us.
Kids Place of Macon County is excited to announce the first ever 8-2-8 Treasure Quest. The event kicks off at the Macon County Rec Park with a field day competition where teams of 2 will compete in an array of physical and mental challenges that will test both their intellectual and athletic prowess. The top 5 field day contestants, along with the team that raises the most money for Kids Place, will advance on to the treasure hunt for a chance to win the ultimate grand prize of $10,000. Advancing teams will be taken to a specific location in town to compete in an action-packed team-based adventure where participants will race against the clock to complete challenges, solve clues, and travel to checkpoint across a series of exciting locations. It's part scavenger hunt, part obstacle course, and all-out fun. Teams must work to strategize, navigate, and compete for the fastest time in order to make it to their final destination and claim the $10,000 treasure. The only question is, do you have what it takes to win? Info and to register a team, visit 828treasurequest.com or scan the QR code. All the fun happens on Saturday, October 11th.
Welcome back, Panthers. Flip to the other side of the field in Brevard territory at the 42. 1st and 10 after the 4th down play was picked up by Anderson Terrell on that boot. 12 minutes on the scoreboard as we begin the second quarter. Pitch going to go to Garrett Young. Take it on a defender. Down to the 35.
Woo! Man. Welcome. Number 36 in red.
Man, he got low that time, didn't you guys?
Yeah, buddy. You want to see a stud right here? That's a boom. Nice.
I asked him yesterday, I did it on purpose, I said, hey, man, you run a little high, and he laughed. He said, yeah, I'm working on it.
7-yard gain, 2nd and 3 for the Panthers. At the 35 of the Blue Devils, it is Addix Sutton right up the middle. And Addix is fighting forward to about the 32. That'll put him about a yard shy of the 1st down. Actually, they may move the sticks here. Yeah, they are.
1st down for the Panthers. Mike, I said the same thing about a young man that played probably 8-10 years ago by the name of Brock Kleppel. First time I saw him run, I thought he's going to get killed. He's never going to last. And, Dan Hunter was reminding us, I believe it was in 2016, Brock Kleppel had 5 touchdowns against Brevard one night. So,
Yeah.
and he got lower. He became a better runner, and I know that Garrett will too.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. Right up the middle, Anderson Terrell breaks free, and he's down to the 20-yard line. That's going to be enough for another Panther first down.
I missed that. Did he just take it right over the left guard?
Just a little right. I mean, not even a step back, not even a draw, just a go, and right off the left cheek of the center there goes Anderson Terrell.
Hey, but all kidding aside about Garrett, man, what a fine young man he is and a specimen.
The best.
His body is solid. Funny story, he played football in middle school and he realized he was fat. And so he decided to run and lose some weight and get in shape.
Well, I think he's over that.
1st and 10. Yeah, he is.
He's
not
only
much fat on him anymore. Right up the middle goes Garrett Young, fighting forward, and he is down to about the 12.
Go Garrett!
He's going to be about a yard shy of the first down. It'll be a 9-yard gain for Garrett Young.
And I mean it. If you watch this replay here, Garrett is looking like a running back tonight, guys. And if you look back at the film, even in our first scrimmage of the season against Rabun County, what a remarkable difference in my eyes that Garrett Young has made in just a month's time.
It's going to bring up a 2nd and 2. Mark it back a little bit. 2nd and 2. Panthers have to get down to the 10-yard line for a first down. It is Attic Sutton right up the middle. And Attic Sutton gets to the 10. We'll see where they mark it because it's going to be close. I think he's going to be short. They're going to mark it back at the 11. So just a yard gain. Going to bring up 3rd down and 1. Panthers draining more clock. We're approaching 9 minutes left here in the second.
Still a good place to be if you ask me on the ride over tonight. You like 3rd and 1 from their 11? I do. I like it a lot, especially when the clock's running.
Garrett Young going to get the pitch. Going to try to turn the corner. Does fall forward, and I think he's got enough. Yeah, they're going to mark it across the 10-yard line. That's going to be enough for a Panther first down. They'll move the sticks. It's going to be 1st and goal now on this long drive for the Panthers.
And how about this? We're now over 6 minutes on the current possession for the Panthers.
This is exactly what the doctor ordered.
First and goal. Anderson Terrell take it his time. On a bootleg. Terrell.
Oh, yeah.
Looks to heave to the end zone. Has a receiver, and it is caught. Touchdown.
Man, a nice little waggle out by Anderson. Wide open. Brock. Beautiful pass, too. As you saw it, touched it over the defender for 6 for the Panthers.
Brock Bradley with the reception. 9 yards out. The Panthers have responded.
Brock Bradley's got a lot of football savvy, the coaches are saying. Great improvement from last year. And they got a little quarterback story with him and Anderson later if we need.
Now for the extra point. Was high. They got it down, and it is good right down the middle.
When did his brother kick for us, guys?
Yeah.
Years ago?
It's been, I'd say 7-8 years ago. All right, 8:19 to go in the second, and we are tied at 7 as we head to break from E.J. Whitmire Stadium.
Surprised you see an onside coming.
Welcome back. It's O'Vera that will tee it up. Maybe a little trickeration. You heard that coming back. We'll see. It's late here in Cullowhee. It'll be a pooch kick gathered in at about the 28-yard line, up to the 30, 35. Up man, able to get up to about the 37. And that's where the Blue Devils will take over, first down and 10. Now tied at 7 apiece.
Mike, a couple of deep return men we're trying to keep it away from right there, I take it.
Yeah, definitely. That was pooch all the way. Fred Goldsmith, he used that all the time with his tenure here.
One way to keep a kid from scoring a touchdown on you is make sure he doesn't get it.
Yeah, and Coach G did that for that and also keeping his kids healthy.
Yes.
Down to 7 on the play clock, and Brevard just getting to the line of scrimmage. They've got to move. Down to 2, down to 1. They do get it off. And
nice play.
Quarterback.
So they put in the other quarterback, Ben
Ben
Kessinger. They've been splitting time on film.
Is that Garrett Young on that? I mean, what a play. Yeah, got his hand in there just as he was taking on the block from number 9, Simon Robinson. Gets his hands out there and really might have slowed that runner up so that we did limit it to a 4-yard gain.
As Mike just mentioned, Ben Kessinger in at quarterback. He's a senior, 6 foot, 150. And we've got whistles. And looks like a timeout by the Blue Devils. So that'll be just their first timeout here in the ball game in the first half. 7:33 left here in the second. Portions of tonight's action on FPSN brought to you by the campaign of Jeff Berry for Town Council. Elections on November 4th. Total Pool and Spa Solutions specialize in maintenance and repairs for all models of spas, above and below ground pools. Their service area includes Franklin and Highlands. Call up Kevin. Give him come out, check out what you possibly need his services for at 828-200-1795. Also, Mountain Credit Union. Branches all over Western North Carolina, proud supporters of the Panthers. Back to action here. Brevard out of the timeout. Got to run a reverse into the hands of Thompson Wynn, and Wynn able to get up to the 48-yard line before he is snowed under. Like Harrison in on the tackle, along with Paxton Sutton.
And really just a good approach right there. Harrison just stood his ground, stood in the gap, didn't try to shoot through and try to make a spectacular stop. But although we gave up a first down, we didn't give up 6 points, right? And that's the kind of miss that kid can make you have, Mike.
I tell you what, though, they're setting it up. They have that same reverse with an option off of it.
Okay.
So he'll end up pitching that ball. And ought to go after the football.
To bring up first down. Flag comes out as the hand goes right up the middle.
Going to get a hold on the interior line, I think. Yep. Saw a red jersey getting stretched there, so that's going to move Brevard back.
That'll be a 10-yarders that'll bring up first and 20.
George, I'm a big fan of that. Just stark red and white, just beautiful looking uniforms out there. Looks good on the film on these expensive cameras that you guys brought over.
It's Murphy's Law. After the storm blew through, the lightning and all that, it's very heavy air, and now our wireless cameras, they're a little fuzzy. That's the way it goes. They're perfect throughout the night. Hand goes to Braylon Thompson, and Thompson across the 50. Gets a chunk of the penalty yardage back. In fact, he got 14.
Well, that was an incredible run, but that was a pretty good stick, I think, by Lance Parker. If you watch Lance step up right here and just let nice little left shoulder pad into the chest to slow down Thompson.
He actually is the quarterback on the field for the defensive backfield. Calls the signals. Good kid.
Oh, it's Kessinger in the gun. Takes out and hands over to Thompson. And Thompson across the 45 to about the 43-yard line. Well, it's going to bring up third down and short here, 3rd and a yard, able to get up to the 43.
Another big play. I mean, you're on Franklin's side of the field, but you're at the 43. Play this forward one play. Be nice to make them have to think about a 4th and 2 or 4th and 3 play.
Kessinger works out of the gun, trips up top, gonna pass, and it's tipped in the air, but caught.
Man.
Caught for a first down at the 40-yard line. He's gonna be snowed under.
Can't wait to see the replay on this one. And I guess that was big 32 McAllister that got a hand up in the air, tipped it, but off the carom, Brevard player was able to grab it.
Picked up the first down.
New set of downs, yeah.
40-yard line. Going to be Kessinger working out of the gun. He hands once again to Thompson.
Hang on, baby.
And Braylon Thompson able to get across the 40 to the 39.
Big 81, Davion Hall again, holding on to those ankles for dear life. If you don't have your legs, you can't go, right, Byron?
That's right. That's right. It's getting windy. I feel like we're in Candlestick Park in this.
I know. For some reason, I think the wind's affecting our cameras, too. It's just like the wind starts blowing and they get fuzzy. And with our great wireless technology, it has worked perfect. But it's a little fuzzy from time to time. 2nd and 9 for the Blue Devils as Kessinger out of the gun. Little pop pass goes to Akipon. And Akipon is able to get up to about the 38, but he is snowed under quickly.
I tell you what, we got some great defenders out there in red, but you know, Mike, I know when 36 involved in the play because you see somebody violently go backwards.
Yeah. But once again, fundamentals of the week, they pushed that back inside where we had more Red Panthers coming for the ball. Can't get outside. Too much speed.
It'll be 3rd down and 9 after the 1-yard carry by Akipon. Kessinger working out of the gun. They'll spread the field with 4 wides. Kessinger fires, receivers there, caught, first down. At the 29-yard line, it's Akipon able to secure it and get just enough. He had a lot of pressure in his face. Able to get it out of there was Kessinger.
Just a little short slant route, Mike, right underneath that zone we had in the middle. Drug that defender on his hip. Nice throw and catch, and Brevard's got a fresh set of downs. They're chewing up some clock as well, guys. This is over a 5-minute drive for them.
3rd offensive possession, I believe, of the game for Brevard. Deep drop for Kessinger. He's going deep to the end zone, overshoots his intended receiver.
Whew, he threw it to the wrong player.
Yeah. You know, they don't mind going vertical, Mike.
No, they definitely don't.
They will play downfield.
2nd and 10.
Well over his intended receiver. That was Christian Conley, the quarterback that started the ball game until this series.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what I was going to say a minute ago when we got cut off. You think you're dodging a bullet because Conley's not playing quarterback. Well, they just move him to receiver. So he shows up in both stat categories.
Yeah, he's going to line up wide to the bottom part of your screen, and the 3 wide receiver, bottom part of your screen set, 1 up top. And goes in motion is Thompson Wynn. They're going to try to set up a screen, and it is going to be incomplete.
Way to go, baby! Man, 81 showing up again,
man.
Byron.
Davion Hall. Big Davion Hall. And you know, that's the thing, too, is you can tell he's excited. You don't see him clap his hands and celebrate a whole lot. He's I'm going to dare say a pretty chill kid when I watch him, but he's excited on a play like that. When you're a defensive lineman, you get to stop the play single-handedly. That's a big deal. So, big play for Davion in the Panther defense.
3rd down and 10 upcoming for the Blue Devils at the Panther 28-yard line. Kessinger calls for the snap. He's going to swing it out. Near side, it's Wynn. Wynn trying to split defenders. Gets up to the 22. He's going to be well shy of the first down, so decision time now for the Blue Devils and head coach Luke Coleman.
Great job, Lance Parker, getting to him first, and Paxton Sutton in on the tackle, number 0.
Down to 2 minutes, 20 seconds left, 4th and 3. It looks like the offense is going to remain on the field for Coach Luke Coleman and the Blue Devils. We're down to 13 on the play clock as they break the huddle.
Brevard does get the ball coming out in the second half. That might factor into this call right here, George.
Kessinger working out of the gun once again. Now we've got whistles and we've got stoppage. And looks like Franklin wants to talk it over.
Yeah, the defense wasn't lined up properly. You could hear the coaches here, so they're just resetting, getting ready for this big down.
We will take a quick timeout. We're back right after this. Welcome back. 2 minutes left. 4th down, 3 coming up for the Blue Devils as they take their second timeout of the night. They have 1 left. Both teams come in with 3 wins on the season. Franklin's played 1 more ball game than Brevard. Both on 3-game winning streaks coming into tonight's action. 4th down, Luke Coleman going to keep the offense out for the Blue Devils. It's Kessinger, the signal caller. Wing right in Thompson on 4th down. Gonna pass. Kessinger fires.
Man.
It's a dead duck, going to be caught. Win, and he's out of bounds. 1st and goal for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, we had pressure on him too, Mike, but I tell you, when I saw that ball go up, I thought, man, there's nobody there. And then I see number 4, and he can cover some ground. Watch him just run underneath this ball. And that's the danger when you play a kid like that. And there they are again, 1st down, knocking on the door here with 1:42 to go. And as I said before the break, they get the ball coming out second half.
Gabe Harrison on the tackle, and that would have been 6 for Tristan Thompson Wynn. Kessinger dancing in the backfield, just throws it out of bounds. That'll be incomplete and brings up 2nd and goal for the Blue Devils.
Good coverage there, guys. Didn't look like anybody was open.
Really good coverage.
That would have been a traveling in the basketball. He went up and faked it a couple times.
Yeah. He was trying to draw some of those red jerseys away from his target there, but like you said, Mike, in Skull Session, in practice, I'm sure they've been said, you just play, simply find your man and stay with your man. Do not try to get fancy. Don't try to do this, that, and the other.
2nd and goal. Hand right up the middle and into the end zone for the touchdown is Braylon Thompson.
Couple big 4th downs there on that drive. Killed us, huh?
No question. And again, pretty amazed. They took a page. That was a 7-minute scoring drive there by the Brevard Blue Devils. But you're right, a couple of big plays to keep the possession going for Brevard.
On to attempt the extra point for the Blue Devils is Castillo, and he is able to split the uprights to make it 14-7 with 1:18 left in this first half. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll be back for the kickoff right after this.
At Mountain Credit Union, we know summer plans start at home, and your home's equity can help make them happen. Upgrade, remodel, tackle unexpected expenses, or pay off high-interest debt. Control your finances with a home equity line of credit from Mountain Credit Union. Introductory rates are as low as 5.49 APR for the first 12 months. Call or stop by one of our local Mountain Credit Union branches today for details, or apply online at mountaincu.org.
Welcome back. 1:18 left in the second. Brevard, after another long drive, both teams have had long, time-consuming drives in this ball game. And they make the score 14-7 to the Blue Devils. They'll kick it away to the Panthers, and Brevard does get the second half kickoff out of the locker room. It'll be a 10-minute half after the lightning delay. will be gathered in at about the 12-yard line. That's Harrison. And Harrison out of bounds at about the 35. So that'll be pretty good field position for the Panthers. Coach Josh Brooks with 1:13 seconds left. We'll see what the Panthers offensively, dial up here. You know, we thanked him when he brought these in, but Daniel Hooker for the win. He brought us some more refreshments because I'm getting a little parched up here.
Yeah, big thank you, of course, to everybody at Western Carolina University. I think I saw an article in Citizen Times about how they've opened their arms and helped us here.
Yeah, I was unable to read that. It was behind a paywall, but yeah, there was an article. Garrett Young on the carry, and he's able to get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more. And we have a timeout. Nope, it's going to continue to roll.
You'll see here as he's waiting for his block to set up. Man, who's that? I didn't catch the number. Comes around from the backside and makes the play.
Gain of a yard for Garrett Young. The clock's going to continue to tick here. Doesn't look like the Panthers are in any hurry to push the ball down the field. Unless a play is broken here, and it's Attic Sutton this time, and we may see Brevard call a timeout. Nope. The clock's going to continue to tick here. Attic Sutton able to get a yard at the most.
Both teams, we're going to have, what did you say, a 10-minute halftime?
That's what they said. I think that's
10 and 3. 10 in the locker room, 3 minutes out here to stretch and go.
Okay.
So 13-minute half. Okay.
Usually it's 20, right?
3rd and 8. One last play. It'll be a Hail Mary. Over to Harrison. It's caught, but that's going to do it. We have come to the halftime break here at E.J. Whitmire Stadium with the Brevard Blue Devils up 14-7 over the Franklin Panthers. Both teams head into the locker room. And Mike, are you able to grab Jay?
I got Jay coming this way right now.
All right, we'll go down to you here in just a few moments. Again, a shortened halftime. I think we're going to have an Athlete of the Month, too, here in a second. Yes, Mike, go right ahead.
Okay, hey, Coach Jay, offensive line assistant head coach. Any surprises out there in the first half? It's kind of what we thought would happen, correct?
Oh, them being ahead and us being behind, I'd say that all the people that know a whole lot of football would have thought that.
No, I don't mean that. I mean that we had a sustaining drive, 6-minute and 34-second drive down the field, did what Panther football wanted to do. What are we telling the kids at halftime?
So if we can run a little faster, I guess call plays as good as Brevard does. At the end of the day, we've got to score every time we touch the ball because they're probably going to, because all you have to do is throw the ball to number 4 and he just makes things happen. He don't even have his belt buckled. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's just a lot of disrespect to us. Their coaches allow it. He couldn't play for us if he dressed like that.
Gotcha. Well, I was talking to Coach Nathan Raby there. We knew they were going to catch a few. We got to contain them and put them down. Thought we did a pretty decent job of that in the first half.
No, I thought we did. I agree with you 100%, containing them, and I think that pressure on the quarterback will help that even more if we could get some pressure. If we'd have got pressure on that 4th down, then he can't stand there forever and throw that ball over there to number 4.
Good deal. Thanks for your time, Coach.
All right, appreciate it. We're going to have the Athlete of the Month presentation now.
Athlete of the Month award. This award is sponsored by
I thought we were going to have the Athlete of the Month.
This award is sponsored by First Citizens Bank and Corbin Dental. Corbin Dental is a locally owned dental practice providing comprehensive and advanced dental care in Franklin. With deep local roots and a passion of service to the community, Corbin Dental takes pride in providing world-class care right here at home. Founded in Smithfield, North Carolina, and managed by the same family for 3 generations, First Citizens has been helping families and businesses make more of their finances for over 125 years. First Citizens Bank, forever first, member FDIC. The September 2025 Franklin High School Athlete of the Month award goes to a member of the women's cross-country team. Miss Amy Mendoza Lopez. Lopez is a senior at FHS. As a member of the women's cross-country team at FHS, Lopez is a one-time cross-country all-conference, two-time indoor track all-conference, two-time indoor track all-state, two-time outdoor track all-conference, two-time outdoor track all-region, one-time outdoor track all-state. Part of the 4x400 meter relay record, the three-time NCHSAA Commissioner's Cup Service Award team recipient, two-time WNC Division I Female Team Olympic Sport recipient, and has a weighted GPA of 4.146. Please join us in congratulating Ms. Lopez on being the September 2025 Franklin High School Athlete of the Month.
Congratulations to Amy, and earlier this week we had a chance to catch up with Amy, and you'll learn more about Amy Mendoza Lopez right now.
Hello, my name's Amy Mendoza Lopez. I'm a senior at Franklin High School, and I've been chosen as September Athlete of the Month. I've been running cross country since my freshman year. I joined cross country because my friend wanted me to join, and I thought, why not, since I did track my 8th grade year and I was hoping it would improve my times during track. So I just stuck with it, and ever since then I've just enjoyed it. At the Western Carolina Carnival, I came in first, and it was a really nice feeling because during my junior year I really struggled with running, and I really struggled to hit a pace or hit a time that I was happy with. So coming in my first 5K of the season and getting first, and by over 30 seconds, it was a really nice feeling. I felt overjoyed and happy. I felt like my training had been working, and that like all the things that I've been doing have been helping to get that. My goal personally for this is to make it a state. I've been to state the past 3 years, but I want to finish off 4 years going to state for cross country, and I hope the team gets to travel with us as well this year, because last year only me and my teammate made it, but I hope the entire team makes it because it's more enjoyable like that, because we have more people to run with instead of feeling so like bored and alone like on the bus over there. So I hope as a team we all make it, and as myself, I hope I also make it.
The Athlete of the Month has been presented by First Citizens Bank, helping families and businesses make more of their finances for over 125 years. First Citizens Bank, forever first, member FDIC. And by Corbin Dental, a locally owned dental practice providing comprehensive and advanced dental care in Franklin. They take pride in providing world-class care right here at home.
A lifelong resident of Franklin, Jeff Berry has a vision moving the town of Franklin forward, an entrepreneur with investments inside the town limits. He knows the critical infrastructure needs of the town. Jeff Berry would like your support in November. When you cast your ballot on November 4th, vote Jeff Berry for Franklin Town Council.
Kids Place of Macon County is excited to announce the first ever 828 Treasure Quest. The event kicks off at the Macon County Rec Park with a field day competition where teams of 2 will compete in an array of physical and mental challenges that will test both their intellectual and athletic prowess. The top 5 field day contestants, along with a team that raises the most money for Kids Place, will advance on to the treasure hunt for a chance to win the ultimate grand prize of $10,000. Advancing teams will be taken to a specific location in town to compete in an action-packed team-based adventure where participants will race against the clock to complete challenges, solve clues, and travel to checkpoint across a series of exciting locations. It's part scavenger hunt, part obstacle course, and all-out fun. Teams must work to strategize, navigate, and compete for the fastest time in order to make it to their final destination and claim the $10,000 treasure. The only question is, do you have what it takes to win? Info and to register a team, visit 828treasurequest.com or scan the QR code. All the fun happens on Saturday, October 11th. Want to keep track of who and where the Panthers are playing each week? You need to pick up our poster-size printed fall schedule with the varsity schedules for Franklin volleyball, boys soccer, and football. They are absolutely free and available to pick up inside all of the following locations across Macon County. RSR CarQuest Auto Parts at 521 Depot Street. They're locally owned and operated and committed to top-notch customer service. Head by Tipton Pharmacy at 175 East Main Street. Franklin's hometown pharmacy. From regular prescriptions to compound, they can fill them all. Dalton's Christian Bookstore has our schedules in the Franklin Plaza Shopping Center. They're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Rusted Arrow Market at the corner of Palmer and Porter Streets. They have our fall schedules inside, along with farmhouse decor, antiques, custom jewelry, unique handbags, and a lot more. Head by Divas on Main. They specialize in everything you need for homecoming and prom at 24 East Main Street. The Franklin Pizza Tavern at 607 Highlands Road. They're your destination for delicious pizza, salads, and more. Head by KL Metals at 270 Highlands Road. They're your one-stop shop for metal roofing and gutter supplies, along with installation and pick up a schedule. The WNC Sports Zone has our free schedules at the Franklin Plaza Shopping Center. They're your Franklin Panther fan gear headquarters. Head by Realty One Group Vibe at 52 Iola Street. Franklin's premier realtors. And you'll find the schedules at the Franklin Golf Course inside the clubhouse. Grab a schedule today and keep track of where the Panthers are playing each week.
Welcome back to E.J. Whitmire Stadium. You see the Panthers, a couple of them have already made their way out onto the field. You see the rest of the Panthers coming back out. 14-7, Brevard still in the locker room. We've got about 4 more minutes until we'll get this one underway. 14-7, Brevard scored late there in that second quarter to give them a 7-point edge in a hotly contested first half of action. Here are the halftime stats courtesy of Rodney and Warren. You see that Brevard has the edge in total yards, 173, Franklin at 92. But the Panthers, I think, can take that second quarter drive that lasted, about 7 minutes, and build on that. Sustained drive, able to pass, able to run, mix things up, and move the football. And hopefully that's going to parlay here into the second half. Obviously, Brevard has some playmakers. Jay made mention of that heading into the locker room. But I think overall you do have to be pleased if you're a Panther fan that it's 14-7 and you've got a chance in this one.
Yeah, I mean, we've played a pretty good first half, in my opinion. There's a couple of fourth down plays, big plays when they needed them. And there we are. Even the first touchdown, to be honest with you, was a missed tackle. But, that's football. I mean, anybody could say that, right? But I think that we have played a pretty good first half of football. Does sort of stink that we're going to turn right around and give it to them right here. But again, that's because we started with the football tonight. But Panther defense has played big. We just got to hopefully we'll figure out some magic there on those fourth and long situations to get the ball back.
Brevard has made their way out onto the field, and hopefully our cameras will hold out as they are. The batteries are, I think, going a little down. As we've been here for a long time tonight. Under 2 minutes until we will get to action here. And talking to Nick Bouchard, who runs the huddle system for the Panthers, and obviously they have a lot of wireless technology, and he was telling me that they have some issues as well with some of the point-to-point wireless technology. That's what we have with our cameras. So I think it is the heavy air here in Cullowhee tonight. Thursday Night Lights, the final one of the year for the Panthers. The rest of the games will be on Friday. You see a trip to Pisgah next Friday. And then back here at Western against the Tuscola Mountaineers. That's homecoming for the Panthers. Then a trip to North Henderson. And then the final date here at Western against Smoky. And then a trip to West Henderson. I know folks have already asked, are we going to Pisgah? We will be there in some capacity. Either audio only or video. And really, we kind of want to know, would you like audio only, just me and Byron talking, or do you really, really, really want video? But I know you really do want video.
Yeah, I don't know if you should ask that.
Pisgah has the key as to whether or not they will allow us.
Yeah.
They could exercise the right to deny us to have video, which happens a lot more